Okay, we are live, German, just you and me.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are we going to talk about?
I'm pretty sure I know what you want to talk about.
Oh, well, not just that. I mean, we got to talk about this whole series without Chris. Chris is not here, you
Mm-hmm.
guys. We kicked him out of the podcast. He's gone. We're replacing him with Lali Lulelo.
There you go.
What you been up to this week, or what you been playing?
Nothing. What have I done? Nothing. Just worked. Haven't done really much. Just kind of actually waiting for the release date for Monster Hunter. That's about it. Honestly, I haven't.
That's a week from today, from our
I know.
recording.
I know. I was kind of trying to debate like whether I should get digital or not, because I think if I get the digital version, then my nephew could play it without him having to buy his own copy, if I remember correctly. But
Are
even
you
at the
guys
same
doing
time,
the weird PlayStation thing where your primary is his and his
yeah,
primary is yours? Okay.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, but I don't want a digital copy. I don't like digital copies.
Oh,
I guess at the end of the day, going forward, the way games have been going is they're not backwards compatible anymore, anyway. So
not for consoles.
yeah, I just wish it was cheaper to get the digital version. Again, I think we've made this argument before in like private or in person, where it's like you're not getting a box, you're not getting you're not paying for shipping and handling and print and all. You're getting a code on the internet. It should be a little cheaper for digital copies.
Yeah, either that or they're losing on physical,
Hmm.
right? To
Yeah.
spend that
Yeah.
extra money. Who knows?
Oh, that's true. We didn't think about that.
Yeah, who knows? But I agree. I think digital should be cheaper. Like you said, prices went up on games, but yet they're the same for digital or physical.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what I've been doing. I think I've been playing a little bit of Oblivion, just for shits and giggles. I discovered a new way of editing
Mm.
because I've been editing just while I'm playing like a video game, and I
Hmm.
just like listen for, like you said, like the clicks and pops and and like that clearing my throat, coughing, stuff like that.
Hmm.
While I'm playing a game, I just listen for that shit and then I pull it out, or like a piece of a conversation where I'm like, this doesn't need to be here, or this was a little too personal or something, which we just
Hmm.
like lift it out.
Sure, or even like names. I'm assuming sometimes you're like getting out
Right.
certain names. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I leave them in, sometimes I don't. I'm like, this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But so since I'm editing more things at once now, I was like, could I edit two podcasts at once
Hmm.
while I'm playing a video game? It turns out I can. So,
Again.
oh yeah. So on my iPad, I think I was editing our Monster Hunter podcast, and on my phone, I had the commentary that Chris and I did on the second Silent Hill movie.
Oh, okay.
For those patrons out there, that's what Chris and I have been up to. We've been doing some commentary, and also we're about to do some movie reviews, and stuff like that, and video and let's plays. But yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna play a video game while I'm listening to both of these podcasts at the same time. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to do it, but I was able to listen to both of them at the same time. And like I said, I hear a cough on one of them, I'll pull it right out of that one. Same thing with the other one, and it's kind of funny if you were to like to walk in on me going like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm just playing a video game, editing two podcasts at once. Just
You know what?
chaos.
No, the amount of shit like that are that's what let's call it our generation does now is bonkers. Like there's times too where I've been like playing a game while talking to Bonnie about something completely fucking different, and I have something different on my phone playing at the same time. And
Yeah.
people, and my wife walked in, she's like, "Are you on your phone or playing the game or
Yeah,
talking?"
yeah.
Like, yeah, all of them, like all of them.
All at once. All at once. Yeah, I think we do kind of look at it in a bad way where we're like when we see, the younger generation watching a movie, but then they're also on their phone at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they must be taking it in also. We must assume like, dude, you're fucking missing the movie. Which for sure, if you're not looking at it and it's like your first time watching it, you're
Sure,
missing out
sure.
on the movie. But if you've already seen it and it's just background noise and you're on your phone, that might actually help with the whole multitasking thing, because that's kind of how I am all day anyways. I walk around with like my iPad in my hand, which is
Mm-hmm.
something my dad does too, which is something my son does too. I don't know if it's healthy or not. We'll find out when we try to rip that thing out of his hands later on in
Mm-hmm.
life. But yeah, it's funny that we can we can do these things all at once. And I was just like, I wonder if I could do it. I mean, I'd be listening to two different things at once, and I have one on my right side and one on my left side, so I can
Mhm.
clearly hear left or right ear where did it come from.
Yeah, I was just
Uh,
gonna ask that. I was gonna ask if you had like a one on one ear, one on the other one. Like
yeah,
literally,
like
like that's
how would I do it? Yeah, so it's just these two things blasting at me because I don't have headphones for either one. I'm just having them blast at me while I'm playing Oblivion. So and Oblivion is kind of like a mindless game, especially if you've played most of it, because I've never beaten the main story. So I'm just
okay.
like wandering around doing dungeons and whatever. And I started a warrior character because I was like, okay, every time I start a new game, I always end up being like a sneaky thief stealth guy. And it's so hard to not do that because it's so fun and easy.
Mhm.
So I'm like, nope, just gonna do warrior. And so I've just been doing like the arena stuff in the main city, and
Um,
that's just mindless shit. So I was just like, yeah, easy
speaking
podcasting background stuff.
speaking of like that right now, there was something actually that I was playing or that I was thinking about playing. Oh, I know what it was. The Last of Us. I've
All right.
mentioned I've been going through part two, and like the first version and games like that, even like Horizon Zero Dawn and all that shit.
Uh-huh.
Like I play it like you said, sneaky. I'm always like, oh, don't get caught. Like, and I was like, man, I'm gonna play this game a little different. I'm like, fuck this shit, let's go. You know, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't
Yeah.
Metal Gear. There is no reward for not getting caught or not killing enemies. It's just a storyline, you know?
But it's like
Um,
embedded in everybody, like not just people
yeah,
who like
yeah.
Metal Gear. It's everybody who's
No,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
let me be
Exactly.
sneaky.
Or
It's so
or
weird.
there's or there's or again, there's some people that are so opposite. They just like to go guns blazing that when they play a game that makes you go sneaking, they can't play it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I told myself I was going to do that because I'm always like, I don't shoot anything. I always try to go for the silent takedowns and the melees.
Yeah.
And then I realized that as I'm opening up drawers and scavenging for shit, like I'm not really finding much. And I think it is RPG based. I think some are hard, like you will find bullets in certain sections, but some are like you might not. And if I remember correctly, at least on the first game, it's kind of like a Metroid Zelda kind of style where it's like, oh, if you're missing health, you'll find health pickups. If you're missing ammo, you'll find ammo pickups. Well, if you're not missing any health or any item or any ammo, you're not going to find either. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I put myself in this position where I don't use any ammo, I don't use any Molotov grenades or any of the shit because I'm always that save it for when I really need it, and then I end up beating the game and never using it.
Yeah.
So I was like, nope. We're gonna play. We're gonna use a shotgun. We're just gonna, we'll try and start it stealth, and when it goes sideways, just fuck them all. Just kill them.
Well, you know what's funny is because I've been streaming the Silent Hill trilogy, the classic ones on
Mm-hmm.
Twitch. The first and the second game, I beat both those games with like over 200 handgun bullets.
Oh yeah.
Like usually I'm always like shooting because I just don't like the things coming at me real close. I don't trust like the melee weapons. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. I'm gonna just shoot. Yeah, like it's crazy how little amount of ammo I actually used in the Silent Hill games this last playthrough, and I'm doing the same thing on Silent Hill 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I mean, I've never beaten Silent Hill 3, and I'm actually in unfamiliar territory now. But I'm still like,
Okay.
nope, stick to your melee weapon. And yeah, I'm doing the RPG hoarder thing where I'm like, save your save these items that I'm gonna need for that one boss, and then you beat the
Yeah.
game, and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Save your elixirs and all, yeah. I did that. I never beat Skyrim, but I did that a lot with Skyrim. I was saving so much.
Oh
like,
yeah, it's so easy
elixirs
to
and
hoard
this
stuff.
and that. Yeah, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna use. And then like I'm telling you, on that game, one of my cousins had come up to visit, and like, what you playing? And I was like, oh, I've been playing this game. Skyrim is pretty cool. He's like, oh yeah, and I loaded it up, and I had saved right before going into a cave, and I was like, yeah, man, it's hella good, and this and this and this, and I started the game, went in the cave. And I literally like beat the cave, and I found like some sword or some shit that I was supposed to, some heirloom for somebody that wanted it, a side quest. And I literally was like, he's like, how long have you been playing this game? And I looked at my hours. I was like 100, it's 50, 60 hours in. And he's like, how much have you progressed? And I went to leave progression. It's like 10%. And I'm like, I think I'm done.
Yep.
I'm like, I haven't done shit, dude. Like, I have not progressed at all, dude. I've been doing nothing but side missions and just cruising around.
Yeah, that happens to me in especially Skyrim all the time. I'm always like, okay, go do something different at the beginning, because
Yeah.
every single time I start a new Skyrim file, I end up going to the companions, I end up becoming a werewolf, and that's like an 8 to 10 hour side quest.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so much shit to do just for that one side quest. And yeah, every single time I fall for it because it's like right as you're getting to the main city, that chick with the companions is like, hey, come join the companions. And I'm like, no, don't don't talk to me. But then they're right there. They're right in the city. And I'm like, I mean, I could just do it real quick. And then, I mean, you're so OP after that mission, because then you're in charge of the companions. Plus, you're a werewolf. It's like, why not do it? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely games like where like my second, third, fourth playthrough. I've noticed that I go do like get the OP weapon or the OP thing, and then you're like, shit, I thought I wasn't gonna do that, because then the game is just easy,
That happens to me with Ocarina of Time all the time.
Oh
right?
yeah.
When you become an adult, you're like, okay, start the big Goron sword stuff.
Go get the big Goron sword.
Yep, and it pulls you all the way to the ice cavern, and makes you do all this and shit. Like, it makes you do so many things out of order if you want to get it as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, by the time I think you can do everything before the Forest Temple. I think you have to like get out of the Forest Temple, like whatever. But yeah, by the time you get that big Goron sword, you're just like murdering fools for the rest of the game.
Sure. Yeah. No, like I said, I'm very guilty of doing stuff like that. Like just playing the game the same way every time, and I'm like, no, I should do something different. But you're so that you're stuck in your ways, and especially if it's a certain play style you like, again, for our other podcast, Monster Hunter, that was one of the things I told myself back in Try. I think it was like, I'm gonna use a new weapon. I love hammer. I forced myself, and I found Charge Blade. I was like, yes, I love this weapon.
Yeah. I mean, for example, this last time I played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 2, I didn't notice that I did it, but I went like in the what's it called, the bomb defusal part.
Mm-hmm.
I went clockwise, and I usually go counterclockwise. And it really threw me off. I was like, which way am I going? Like, I literally was like, kind of like, something feels wrong, and I don't know why.
Because you went different, yeah.
Yeah, until I finally made it to like, what was it, like strut A, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, everything's all weird. Yeah. And yeah, I realized I was like, oh shit, I went the other way. Like, I don't usually go this way. Yeah, so yeah, it's tough trying to play a game a different way, especially if you've trained yourself to go a certain way for speed runs, collectibles, this and that, 100%ing.
Like your second playthrough, it might be easier to say like do it differently. But if it's like you said, like your third, fourth, fifth try, it is hard to break away from that. Like, no, do it different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you catch yourself? The next thing you know, you're like, fuck, I can't think of a game right now. But likewise, I'm like, I'm gonna do things different. Halo, I think Halo 2. I was always like, I'm gonna play this one differently, and then without even knowing, I don't even know how, when, or why, I find myself outside of the map doing God knows what. I'm like, what the no, play this goddamn storyline. Like, stop glitching out of the maps and doing random shit,
Yeah. Yep. All right, well. But yeah, welcome back, everybody, to Codec Calls, a Metal Gear Saga podcast, where we discuss the Metal Gear games in chronological order from 1987 all the way to the present. I am one of your co-hosts, Noise, and I'm accompanied here by German, aka Chrono Riser.
Hey guys.
We have a member missing today, but that is on purpose.
He's in a coma.
Yes, he's in a 9-year coma. We don't have Chris, aka Blue Rhino Boss, here today for a specific reason. We will be discussing spoilers, just German and I, for our 50th episode. We wanted to just talk about some stuff up to where we are in the podcast and beyond as well. And with Chris around, we just can't, because we don't want to spoil anything for him. Where should we start, German? I mean, should we start from the first game, or what's like something you've really wanted to talk about that we just couldn't around, Chris?
You know what? That's a good one. I don't know. So much of it has been covered since we did make it all the way up to 4.
Right.
But yeah, that's a hard one to kind of take in. We can just kind of jump around. I think one of the things I did want to say, and it's not a big thing, this was not really a spoiler necessarily, except for what games are in the series. But I remember I brought up before how like not that I never liked. I always kind of wish they would have not called Metal Gear Solid 3 Metal Gear Solid 3. Right. That it should have just been called Metal Gear Snake Eater. Then you could have gotten Metal Gear Peace Walker, and you could have gotten, because you could have kept it in a nice little thematic bundle a little better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I think we talked about this personally, you and I, like, would Metal Gear Solid V5 still have that same kind of feeling, if you will, if it was just called Metal Gear Phantom Pain? I don't know. I would argue it would.
I think, yeah, I mean, because people, I think it was our buddy Hey Jay. We were talking on, or he was streaming. I was talking to him, and he kind of said like he said, "Oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5 or V, I think is what you guys call it." And I'm like, I actually just call it 5.
Hmm.
It's actually very new to me that people call it V.
I call it 5 as well. I just recently been saying V a little bit more recent. But yeah, it's always been 5 to me as well.
Yeah, it just, to me it sounds weird when people call it Metal Gear Solid V, and I'm like, that's a 5, but I get why you're calling it V for Venom, obviously.
Well, and it is the first time they use a numerical Roman numericals.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was weird. It's almost like 5 breaks it even more by not even giving itself truly a number. It gave itself a V, So it is funny. Like, you know what? That's a good question. What is it officially according to Konami or Kojima? Like,
Yeah.
is it V or is it 5?
Yeah. And Venom Snake is doing the V on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of V in the game, so I get why people call it V, but I still call it 5. So it's
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, personal preference, whatever. It is the
Mm-hmm.
fifth main line one.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Kojima wanted Peace Walker to be 5,
Oh,
but
real?
yeah, but Konami fought him on that. Actually, they said we can't have a mainline Metal Gear be on a fucking
On
PSP.
a handheld. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why. Well, I mean, 3 was on a main console, but I don't know. I just think thematically it would have been so much cooler because then this one just Ground Zero, Metal Gear, Ground Zeroes, Metal Gear it's not called Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel, right? It's just Metal Gear Ghost Babel, right?
Metal Gear Ghost Babel, and in the US it's Metal Gear Solid.
Oh,
Yeah, because they were trying to, they were using the
oh,
name to try to sell copies.
okay. So it did have the solid.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did. It did. Damn. Okay.
that's what's so weird about it. It's just like, well, I don't know why you did that, but yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, Ghost Babel GB for Game Boy.
Yeah, yeah. But that was the only thing I was gonna say. Like it was spoilers because like he doesn't know how many entries there are, and it would spoil that 5 revolves around quote unquote Big Boss, even though that's another spoiler for him later on. Um,
Wait,
but
that what?
oh, because I was saying like because they could have kept it where 3 Snake Eater, Portable Ops, Peace Walker, and Phantom Pain are all about Big Boss, quote
Oh, right.
unquote, for the final one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the solids could have been about Solid Snake, Plus the whole thematic of PS3 having Metal Gear Solid 3, the way it was just kind of going there for a while. All the numbered sequels were for that respected system for the most part.
But yeah, I guess since we're talking about V, before you heard about this theory,
Mm-hmm.
what was your so the theory that I'm talking about is the Venom Snake is Gray Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Before this theory was ever a thing, which oddly enough was before the game came out, I didn't know anything
Yeah.
about this theory actually.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah.
It actually caught my eye just a couple months ago, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then
Really?
yeah, and
Oh
then
wow.
I had no idea. I wasn't really. I don't know how I never ran into this theory, which is actually great because while I was playing 5, the Phantom Pain,
Mm-hmm.
the whole time I was playing, I was like, "Why am I not Gray Fox?
Yeah. Sure.
This makes so much sense if it was Gray Fox because they kept saying he's the most trusted soldier that
Sure. His
Big
most
Boss
loyal
has. His
soldier.
most loyal
Yeah.
soldier. Why the fuck am I not Gray Fox?"
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
that's what kind of like bothered me for the whole game. Like, and this theory is like, well, you are if you take all these things into account, right? And there's no confirmation from Kojima.
No.
He's never denied or confirmed it. What were you going to say?
No. 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 Keep going.
But yeah, it's everything in this theory makes sense. But before we dive into that, like I was asking you, so what you got out of the game was Venom Snake is the first big boss that you fight in Metal Gear 1 on the MSX, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, that is the real big boss that you
Original.
fight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what you got from playing the Phantom Pain, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. That's what I got too. However,
Mm-hmm.
one thing didn't sit right with me, which oddly enough, this theory brings out. Why does Ocelot hand you new identity, which looks like the character you made,
That you made. Yeah.
and says, "This is your new identity. You better lay low." Why?
Yeah.
That is never answered. What is your explanation for that? Because that means that Big Boss changed his face to look like you.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that is very true, which is never ever stated or confirmed or anything like that. And it further kind of brings this point that although Big Boss was in command of Foxhound, I think the argument could be made, or maybe the theory even goes into the video goes into saying that while you, I guess hard to say, while Big Boss was in command of Foxhound back in
Yeah,
the States, Venom Snake was in command of Outer Haven or Diamond Dogs, whatever,
yeah, yeah,
however that would go there. Diamond Dogs becomes Outer Haven, whatever. So therefore, like Big Boss had to have known that's Venom Snake, and that's why I don't know. It gets very fucking weird, dude. It gets super
yeah.
confusing. Well, the other thing is in Metal Gear, the 1980, what is it, 86, 87? I always forget the year. The
87.
87. Um, you're sent in there to find Gray Fox, and you do make contact with Gray Fox. So
Uh
that
huh.
that also makes it so that this theory doesn't hold water because you do see Gray Fox as a prisoner, as a POW. I think maybe originally that's what it was supposed to be. Like you were supposed to be Gray Fox. I agree with you. When I actually the same guy, Pliskin or whatever his name is there, Pliskin, Python,
Python Falcon.
Python's Sulkin. I believe it was him who made that original theory back when Metal Gear
Them. It's
Solid
two
Five
guys.
was.
It's Python and Silicon.
Oh, it's two guys.
Yeah, I think. I
Oh,
think. Yeah, the main dude. I don't know if he's the voiceover. I don't know if he's Python or Silicon. But
oh,
yeah,
okay.
the voiceover is one dude, and then the guy who edits it is the other dude.
Oh, okay. So I think they had made that theory back when Metal Gear Solid 5 was still in the
Announced.
works. Yeah, when it was being announced and everything.
That's what I
Like I
mean. I
remember,
never saw it. That's why I was like, what the
yeah,
hell? How did I miss
that's
this?
crazy. No, that is super crazy because I did see it. I saw it and I was like, oh, I was all for it. I was like, fuck yeah, this would be kind of cool. This would itch or yeah, itch that scratch I had or scratch that itch. There you go.
Yeah,
Of playing as fucking Gray Fox, as playing as a cyborg ninja, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like this would be like the moment where you actually get to see why Gray Fox is called Gray Fox. See his actual badassness, if you will.
yeah,
What better way to show that he put himself in the position of a big boss, to draw out Cipher, whatever, whatever the ultimate end goal was there,
yeah.
and the more as the game kept getting closer and closer to release date, like his videos were solid. They were, pun intended, they were on the dot. They were 100%. I was 100% on board that not that that's what it was going to be, but yes, hopefully this is it. And then we got the game, and then at the end it wasn't. And yeah, I was a little disappointed that we didn't play as Gray Fox. We didn't get to see that come through. I understand the concept of we are Big Boss's best soldier. We, the player, the
Yeah.
individual, the ones who have stuck by his side. That I get it. I get the tribute to us. I get the symbolism. I don't think I like it. I don't know. I've never seen myself as a soldier. I always saw myself as playing as these characters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you were saying that this theory doesn't what's it called? Reinforce that idea that because you're saying you meet up with Gray Fox in Metal Gear 1,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how could you be Gray Fox in V if you see him in Metal Gear 1
And then fight Big Boss later
and
on.
then fight
Yes.
Big Boss? But that's the thing. That's why I mentioned the ending of V where Ocelot tells you to change your face to you, which would be Gray Fox's face. And
Okay.
that's what the theory is saying. That the theory is saying the Gray Fox that you freed in Metal Gear 1
Was Big
is
Boss? Yeah.
was Big Boss with Gray Fox's face. And then you encounter V, kill him, quote unquote, but he doesn't die. They switch faces back again, and then you fight the real Gray Fox and cripple him, and then you fight the real Big Boss and cripple him. That's where I'm kind of like I've been like hyper focused on it because I'm like it doesn't make sense for them to show us that Big Boss is going to change his face to the player's face.
Yeah.
Why
No.
the hell would they do that?
Yeah.
Like that's what
Yeah.
I'm really holding on to. Otherwise, I'd be like, this theory holds no water.
What? Well, so then would you say that Venom Snake was? Remember, he's the commander, so he actually went back to the states. Gray Fox as Venom Snake went back to the states and you know took command of Foxhound. Everything that happened is exactly the way it happened, but with Gray Fox being Big Boss.
Right.
So yeah, so that and then Gray Fox was Big Boss. Yeah,
And it seems when it's a theory, it seems more convoluted and dumb. But when you look at the entire Metal Gear series all
oh,
together, you're like, there's some really dumb convoluted
oh
things that
sure,
we just accept.
absolutely.
So why do some people stand on the other side of the fence and not, take this one seriously? Because I still see like Reddit threads where people are like, what fucking people are still entertaining this dumbass theory? And it's like, why is it dumb? It's no dumber than the other shit that we've
Than the
played
nano
through.
machines, or yeah,
Yeah.
90% of the other shit. Yeah.
There's way more ridiculous things that we accept because Kojima says it's canon. And people are still fighting to this day saying Portable Ops isn't canon because Kojima said it's not canon. And it's like,
Hmm.
dude, if it's not, why is it mentioned in future games?
Hmm.
Like it's just the series contradicts itself over and over and over. And
All the time.
I get that's a writing problem.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean,
Hey,
there's just so much evidence in my opinion.
well, and that's the problem though. It's like until one of them confirmed that, it's just wishful thinking because everything else, for the most part, has been confirmed one way or another. The only other one that I would like to have been confirmed, and again, it might be stated out there. There might be an interview out there that states it, whether or not the whole ocelot liquid was as I had thought, as the comic showed that it was a real thing going on, because one of our producers said that like it was just part of his hypnosis or whatever. But the comic books, like no one else knows that he's going through that. No one else just knows he's seeing these things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Unless it
he's
was the
going through
point.
it in private. Yeah.
Yeah, unless it was like the hypnosis was made to so that he could really, really sell it. Like get out of here! Like, dude, he's talking to Liquid again.
Just in
He's fucking
case
crazy. Yeah,
it's just
in
in case
case.
someone walked in on him.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't know. I should Google search that one day. Probably not right now because I'm kind of trying to just relax since this one's more of a just a let's talk.
Yeah.
If whether or not it's confirmed, because again, like the whole he's the Sorrow's son. The Sorrow's a medium, so that makes
Right.
sense to me. And but yeah, until they could, and neither one of them would say anything. Unfortunately, Kojima probably wouldn't touch Metal Gear anymore, at least not for a while longer in any way, shape, or form. And Konami probably won't say anything without trying to piss off anybody.
Yeah.
But no, it should have been Gray Fox. It all makes sense to me. It should have been. It was perfect for that. Now, the double face off. That's
Yeah, I mean, this is literally face off.
Yeah,
They swap
no,
faces
it really
and then they
is.
swap back.
Yeah, and they swap back. Yeah. No, it like I said, when it pays out, it makes so much sense and it's so much cooler than what we got. Like there's a scene obviously when you're like, Eli, oh, it's fucking Liquid Snake. Oh, fucking, oh my god, it's Eli, it's your son, And then Kaz tells you like, we got the DNA, he's not your son, and you're like, huh?
Right.
And you're like, huh? And you're like, well then, who the fuck is he then, right? At least me, I never said, then who the fuck am I? I was like, if he's not Liquid, then who the fuck is he? That was my first thought.
Oh, so you questioned the kid.
Yeah, they actually got me. They got me good. I was like, then who the fuck is he? And I was like, fucking, it's Miller, so he's probably lying, dude. He's probably lying. And then at the end of the game, you're like, oh shit, duh, he's not my son because I'm not Big Boss. Like that, that was kind of a cool twist for me there. That one got me. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean that thing too. Like you said, maybe Miller's lying because we can't trust Miller because at the end of Peace Walker, the real ending, after you defeat Paz in Zeke, you get the ending where Miller explains that he knew who Galvez and Paz were from the beginning, and he brought them in. So just to grow MSF, right? Like he used them to grow MSF, and so we as Snake shouldn't be trusting Miller, which is a huge fucking red flag for 5. As why are we trusting Miller again? This guy who, I mean, Miller lost a huge amount of trust from Big Boss. Like Big Boss never trusted him again. So why the fucking 5 does he trust him again?
Well, and like I said, go and rescue him, sure, absolutely. But like then letting him immediately back in your ranks and all that shit, like no.
Yeah, to run Diamond Dog. I mean, he created Diamond Dogs, but still to keep them in command and
exactly. No, it would definitely be more of a we had we shared blood or whatever. I'm gonna come rescue you, but then it's like you can stay here or whatever. But like, yeah, like, yeah, that was definitely weird, and that makes sense because they chopped it up in the video to saying like potential memory loss and all that kinds of stuff. That no, that you could explain it with memory loss. You've been in a coma, so you
Right.
probably lost some of your memories. And again, a lot of these are like, yeah, you could explain it this way, but it also makes sense that the fact that you don't know these memories is because you're not fucking Big Boss. Like I don't know. It also brings into the whole argument. Again, I agree with everyone out there that it's pretty shitty that the legendary soldier, the most skilled dude out there, was quote unquote on par with his most trusted soldier, the player, us. Then why the hell do the whole Les Infanterie project in the first place? If any other soldier can become as good as Big Boss by making him believe he's as good as Big Boss.
Well, Les Infanterie happened uh 10 years before this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like that. That still makes it feel like then what was the whole point of Solid Snake and Liquid Snake if all you had to
Right.
do is just take the best soldier, his best commander, and then hypnotize him a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel it's like it's Zero's just attempt to just recreate Big Boss in any way that he could.
That's true. It was also like
Because
it was stated.
they scrapped it. They scrapped the project, the Les Infanterie project, but it turned out that like who I guess Miller and Ocelot decided to protect the boys
Yeah, I think so.
and to raise
Uh,
them pretty much themselves without Zero.
I think it was also Zero. Zero gets a little complicated because most of his thoughts and or doings or whatever are only ever conveyed through tapes and or hearsay for the most part. But it was also like a contingency plan against Big Boss, technically.
Right, that too. Yeah,
Right. And yeah, so I guess it makes sense, but again, it does feel a little cheap to know like in prior games you're playing as the clone of Big Boss, so this legendary soldier, and you yourself become a legendary soldier, and then like I said, when you're playing as Venom Snake, you have S rank, CQC, S rank, handguns, S rank, a lot of high rank on most of your stats there, but then you're like, then I'm comparing myself to Big Boss now. I don't know, it just feels very weird.
but it's the same as you playing a Solid Snake,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, yeah, but Solid Snake is the clone. That's what I'm trying to say. And then as the player, you're not a clone. You're just some soldier. I don't know. I would have thought maybe they would have given you like maybe not as good as CQC. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows where they could have gone? That whole Metal Gear Solid 5 becomes a real train wreck because of the whole fallout they had. How much was possibly omitted, how much was changed last minute. The whole Ground Zeroes being its own quote unquote game when it definitely shouldn't have been its own game.
Yeah, yeah, that one was forced out because the budget was getting out of hand, and Konami was like, "You got to put something out."
Yeah, we need some of that money back.
Yeah,
Um,
which I think is
I
fine because it's. I mean, I don't condone it nowadays. To like what the hell? It paid was it $30
I
on
think it was like
PS3,
30. Thankfully, it
$40
wasn't.
on
Yeah.
PS4. I definitely don't condone it nowadays, but
Mhm.
we were just so hungry for Metal Gear
Oh, sure. We were
that
hungry to
we
play
did it.
the new Metal Gear because it was a whole engine overhaul. It was all new.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think I'd read somewhere that originally, potentially, again, because as far as I know, none of this has ever been really confirmed, but the Ground Zero's mission was supposed to be played as a flashback when you rescue Kaz and he's talking to you or something like that.
oh really?
Yeah, and it fits almost so perfectly, just like the Metal Gear Solid 2, the Hudson River 2 years ago. Like
Right,
that's
right, right.
him telling Raiden. It fits so perfect. You're like, dude, that does fit so perfectly, man. Like that would have been a much better pacing than getting Ground Zeroes and then you're playing Peace Walker. Like it could have started off with the hospital scene. You're like, what's going on? I have no idea. Minus trailers and all that bullshit, right? And then all of a sudden you get to the Miller section, and then like you're like, you don't remember or some bullshit, and then it's like we went to the Omega camp, and then you get to play the Omega camp section, and you're like, oh, cool, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was okay the way they did it. It lent itself for you to learn the mechanics of the game also before Phantom Pain came out.
Oh yeah,
Even though they changed a few things, obviously the controls changed just a slight bit. I don't know if you noticed that.
I don't remember, but
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah, like the whole like sticking people up and the radial menu. It's just a
Hmm.
little bit different.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I was okay with them teasing this thing. Like I said, I played on PS3. It blew my mind that it was working on PS3. and that it looked as good as it did. I don't understand how they did this magic. Kojima and his team are just fucking wizards. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it was like I think Kojima also conditioned me because I played PT,
Mm.
which was free, but it was like a playable teaser, and that's kind of what Ground Zeroes was to me. It was a playable teaser.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Did you
Mhm.
watch? Did you watch the new theory video, the whole thing?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
I only watched it once, so
yeah, so Ground Zeroes. Do you believe that we were playing as Big Boss in Ground Zeroes?
Oh. Will refresh my memory because I remember he pointed that out compared to playing as Venom.
The theory states, because of one crucial piece of dialogue, that Ground Zeroes is what Venom Snakes remembers. It's what Ocelot has implanted in Venom Snake's memory,
Hmm.
because there's a piece of dialogue where Miller says about Galvez and Paz,
Oh
I
yeah, that
can't believe we ever
we fell
bought
for
that
it.
story,
Yeah,
which is like, wait a minute, you brought them in. Why are you
and
saying
you
that to
do.
me? Which explains why Venom Snake trusts Miller, because Ocelot omitted that whole memory of Miller betraying us, basically,
Hmm.
to get his fucking MSF army off the ground.
Uh-huh.
What do you think of
So
that?
okay. Oh, no, no, yeah, yeah. I remember that, and I. So I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to ask me. Are you asking me that did in the game we played? Are we playing as
As Big
Venom?
Boss, or
Hmm.
are we playing as a memory implanted in Venom?
So does the question kind of also ask like because if we are Big Boss, why are we going in there to rescue Paz? Or like, are you saying like did Big Boss ever take on that mission? Period, or was it that
No, yeah,
the
I mean,
mem?
the like that mission, all of that shit really happened, but are we playing it as the actual thing that
Okay.
happened, or are we playing
Mhm.
it as the implanted
That's
memory?
the memory. I think now with what we know now and what I would I would argue it gets so weird. I would argue that you're playing as the memory that you're going off of this like trust Miller,
Right.
and we don't know what's going on with Pods and we don't know, you know, all these things and plus they want to get intel on Pods see if they can find out more about Cypher, aka Zero.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't work for the game because it was the fucking medic who becomes, you know what I'm saying? And the medic is on the chopper. Is it the same chopper you get into
Yeah.
when your base gets destroyed? Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
believe so.
I think so.
Because you land on Mother Base, and then you get back on the helicopter to leave. So I don't know if the medic was there from the beginning or not. Because there
Refresh
are
my
multiple
memory.
choppers, I think.
Yeah, refresh my memory on this. When does Paz get blow the fuck up? Is it when you're leaving Omega Camp or when you're leaving MSF?
When you're leaving MSF.
Oh, okay, that's when she blows
Yeah.
herself up.
Yeah, and all of you
Okay,
are on the same helicopter.
okay, that's right. Because the explosion does knock your chopper AWOL or not AWOL, but all whack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I would argue that you're playing as the memory. And that's and oh man, when this, I'm telling you, I'm surprised that you didn't see. If you can, maybe go back to the original theory back in the day too, or the original
Oh, I did after.
theories.
Yeah, I did
Oh,
after
okay.
I watched this one. Yeah.
Because there was so much like cool shit. It felt so much more Kojima than what we ended up getting because it was the whole XOF. It's backwards Fox, right? So it's,
Oh,
not exactly because the F is facing correctly, but still it's backwards. And dreams are all about shit being backwards. So many dream metaphors, so many, you know, things that were like, oh shit, like this is something deeper than what we think, it's something more,
yeah.
because I was under because I remember even having like in one of the magazine the picture of a Big Boss, quote unquote. I'm just gonna say Big Boss in the rain in outside of what's that place called, Omega Camp or whatever,
Yeah.
and everything was backwards. Everything on this in this print was 100% backwards, and it was like it was done on purpose. Why is it backwards? It's like, oh, because you're looking at it from the other side of the mirror. Like a lot of Alice in Wonderland kind of uh, you know um, themes, going on like deception and dreams and not what you think. Things aren't what you believe in. I think that was even something stated by Kojima himself. Like things aren't what you see or some shit like that.
Well, yeah. That's the whole thing about five is we are experiencing five with Ground Zeroes included through the eyes of a man who doesn't know who he is
Mm-hmm.
and remembers shit incorrectly. I mean, to the point to where he hallucinates Paz as being alive.
Mhm.
How can we trust anything
Mhm.
that we see, right? Another thing that I guess Kojima Productions employee or dev said that if you don't see a tape being handed to Venom, it is most likely not real,
Mhm.
right? So we can't trust any of the tapes either that we didn't physically see Venom hold in his hand.
Sure.
Because yeah, there's tapes from Paz and whatever and all this and that, and
Mhm.
especially
Mhm.
the one that says truth,
Mhm.
right? Once we finally unlock this one, all of a sudden it just appears in your fucking inventory, right? The other tapes you physically find them in the field and shit.
Mhm.
But the truth one just appears out of fucking nowhere.
I think you get some also after complete missions and shit, right?
Right, but those ones just appear.
Oh, so those ones are also not potentially
They
valid.
can't be trusted, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that the whole thing about here's what really happened, right? And they
Mhm.
have you play the truth mission where you play through the whole fucking
Yeah.
intro again,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you get to see quote unquote big boss, this big boss guy who supposedly has been, this is the also far-fetched thing. You've both been in a 9-year coma
Mhm.
right next to each other. That's crazy. And then he gets out of the fucking, was it an ambulance?
Yeah, I believe so.
It was a van, yeah, an ambulance.
Yeah.
And they leave you there, and he goes and talks to Ocelot, and then Ocelot's like, "Go change your face."
Mhm.
How, how can we possibly trust any of that? Because one of the things I had a problem with was that whole 9-year thing.
Mhm.
It doesn't make any sense to me. To me, I think Ishmael,
Mhm.
the guy that's supposedly Big Boss with the face
Mhm.
wrap, and you can see both his eyes, by the way.
Mhm.
I don't think he's real there. I don't know if you ever noticed, but in that hallway part where both of you, where he tells you to shoot,
Mhm.
he will not shoot unless you shoot.
I remember seeing that in the theory video.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've only beaten 5 once, so, like, I've
Oh
never
shit,
got a
really?
chance to yeah, I've never got a chance to really, like, play around with little details like that, but, I mean, I'll take the video's, word for it, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. I went back and tested that because I was like, that's kind of nuts. Like it takes a super long time until the game finally goes like, okay, this fucking player's not going to do it, and then he'll do it. But yeah, to me, that all of that seems super far fetched. That he's been, he says he's been watching you for 9 years, which that I believe.
Mhm.
I don't think Big Boss fell into a coma. I
You
think
think
you
he was
fell
doing
into a
other
coma.
shit?
I
Mhm.
think he was doing other shit, and
Sure.
I think
I
you
would
fell
buy
into a
that.
coma. Yeah.
Yeah. I would buy that 100 times more. Yeah, that one to me is definitely one that I'm like, yeah, that 2 people again, we already got the double face swap and then 2 people in the coma, unless one of them was induced on purpose, but that still doesn't make any kind of sense.
Yeah, why
Um,
why cripple one of your
yeah,
soldiers on purpose?
yeah. Now, I would almost, I would have almost argued and would have accepted that you were a body double for Big Boss out of what do you call it? Devotion. There's a lot of world leaders out there that have body doubles,
Oh yeah, Saddam
and
Hussein had body
yeah.
doubles and shit. Yeah.
So for purposes of this, so like I would buy that Miller said like, hey man, like you know what, like Cipher really hates you and he's trying to get you killed or whatever the fuck's going on there. Like the point is you might die. Let's get a body double. I would buy that more than like some weird like you're gonna become Big Boss for a little bit. Like I would have bought that like you look like him from the beginning or some shit like that. I don't know. And maybe you could argue that that's why if let's pretend Big Boss was in a coma. Let's pretend the Big Boss was in a coma. That's why they maybe put you in a coma too, so that I don't know, you're not out there doing shit without him. I don't know. It's there's a lot of weird shit with this game. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts that I wish would have changed or been answered.
I, I thought the same thing too, like you said, is they must have induced you
Mm-hmm.
so that you were both in the same spot just in case someone came to kill him.
That's what I would buy into more. No, oh yeah. The whole Ishmael like not really being there. No, there's so much. There's so because there was again those original theories from Pliskin Selkin, Pliskin Python Selkin were. I mean, there were. I mean, I was all for it. I'm like, if this is what Metal Gear 5 is going to be about, like, I'm fucking all for it because it looks so cool about the hallucinations. The fucking boss is technically the boss, right? The boss on the horse is the boss, or was supposed to be Volgan when the fucking horse is on fire and Volgan's on fire and
Oh, the
um
statue of the boss.
I don't remember, but pretty much like just talking about how like there's so much shit that it really feels like that no one else sees but you as the character.
Yeah. No,
Um,
it's like a fever dream. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, a fever dream. There you go. I remember when I first encountered Paz in Mother Base, I was like, okay, game. I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna explain this one? She blew
She
the
blew up.
fuck
Yeah.
up. I'm like, and she's perfectly fine here. And these guys, not these are they're not the only ones who did it, but they were like, yeah, everything in that room is fucking backwards, and you can't really read any of
Right.
the
Right. Right. Yeah.
and
Everything.
I was
Yeah.
like, because in dreams you can't really read shit. I was like, fuck. I'm like, this would have been so much better.
Yeah. I mean, he was lying to himself. He made
Mm-hmm.
the Ocelot version in his head tell him that the explosion actually didn't happen. We got the bomb out.
Mm-hmm.
But then also it's like, then why was there an explosion? You get the bomb
Mm-hmm.
out and then you threw it and then it exploded, or like what?
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much unreliable narration going on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it even says it, double talk and 2 + 2 = 5 and
Mm-hmm.
1984. There's so much 1984 stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we got it. I know you probably feel like you don't, and a lot of people, including Mr. Lale Low.
The magnum opus.
No, but I mean, like that we are Gray Fox, and no, but yeah, that this is his magnum opus because I believe Kojima when he as much as I don't want to, I believe this was a complete game. The only reason I say that is because if this is not a complete game, then neither is Metal Gear Solid 2. Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid 2 did the same shit to us. There was a lot of questions. It fucking left us going like, what the fuck? Like, there should be more,
Mm-hmm.
and there wasn't. And the name of this game is called The Phantom Pain. It
Mm-hmm.
left us going like, dude, there is something fucking missing here,
Mm-hmm.
and it just feels like all of that was on purpose. And for years, I was definitely on that same wagon of like, this is bullshit. They kicked him out before he got to finish this game, and the story's whack. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But the gameplay was always solid. That
Oh.
that I always loved from the beginning. I was
Oh
like, this is
yeah.
the
Oh.
best fucking Metal Gear game I've ever played in my life.
No. 100%. It's the
Like Peace Walker
gameplay.
comes
Oh.
close, but this one's
I had to
leaps.
replay both of them. I don't know, but for sure, I think you're right on that sense. Because yeah, you can't crawl in Peace Walker.
I know. I was
but
like, oh shit, I can't crawl in Peace Walker. What the hell?
but Peace Walker didn't have that multiplayer, even though no one really played it multiplayer. But it was such a
Oh, you
cool
mean
option.
5? Yeah, 5 doesn't have the multiplayer.
Yes, yeah.
Co-op. That would have been fucking awesome.
I definitely do like Five's open ended. I do like its gameplay. It is super fun. I mean, building your mother base again. If you didn't get enough of it from Peace Walker,
Yeah, the last couple games.
or Portal Ops, which had very little purposes. These ones are like, dude, you could spend kind of like what I did in Skyrim, hundreds and hundreds of hours recruiting soldiers and never progressing in the storyline. That's totally fine.
And at a certain point, forces you to murder a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, that we can't forget about that. That shit was
like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, dude, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I spent so long like rescuing these dudes and turning them to my side and all this stuff, and now I gotta fucking kill them.
I think,
and depending on how far you let the virus go too, is how many you're gonna lose.
Oh, really? That I was always wondering, like, if they would also do any kind of like, what's the minimum requirement of soldiers you need at Mother Base?
Oh yeah, you were saying that.
And like, could you get to that part with like only one soldier? Like, what would that? How would that change the cutscene in any way? Like, would it be like, or would it just be like, oh, it still plays out a cutscene with 10 soldiers dead to you, even though you only have one? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you always get volunteers, so you would have to dismiss them all.
Yeah.
As soon as they come into your base, you'd have to dismiss them.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. I kind of want to do a run where, when I just dismiss everybody
right before that. No, and it was.
You wouldn't be able to develop anything.
I know, right? No. Well, and again, there's you're going back to this whole. There's so many more clues about like your Russian is perfect. He doesn't fucking speak Russian. He can't fucking smell. Fucking.
He doesn't smoke no cigars.
Yeah, that one. I mean, that one's kind of like a. Okay, sure, like yeah, but the other ones are straight up like. Again, you could argue that the coma made him forget his Russian. Yeah, like say you could argue that the coma made him forget Russian. Yeah, you could argue that, but. No, he was fluent in Russian, and now you need an interpreter. Yeah, no, like those details once they come out, and you're like, "Fuck, that is pretty smart. That is pretty cool." I will agree with you. I am more on the boat now that this possibly was done on purpose, but I don't like it though. I really wish we would have gotten more of
Oh yeah. No, I
of
wish we got chapter
because the
3 and all that shit. That would have been
because
nice.
yeah, because here's the thing, because gameplay is there. So, this one kind of, in my opinion, did the opposite of what potentially 4 did. I got to replay Peace Walker. Obviously, that's on our list because I don't remember anything from Peace Walker too much. But it was so game heavy, but the storyline was kind of lacking. And again, whether, in my opinion, whether it was because of crunch time or executions, or people, not executions, the way they executed the game,
Right.
and or the whole like falling out, it was all over the place, in my opinion. It did feel like a 2. You're right, like a, this is going on, but no, that this kind of, but not really, but like, wait, what the fuck's important then? What's going on?
Well, I think that's chapter 2's fault, right? Because chapter 1 had such a good structure that, to be honest, I forgot that the game even said chapter 1 when I started playing the game. And you get to the whole Sahelanthropus thing, and you
Uh-huh.
beat that, and then it goes chapter 2, and I'm like, oh fuck. I was like, what
Yeah,
the hell? There's a whole nother part to the game.
yeah,
But the structure of chapter 2 is mostly revisiting things.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And
that's why it feels like
basically
it was
like,
kind of like,
yeah, like real endings and whatever, and the whole, I mean, they patched it in later, but getting quiet back and all this other stuff.
yeah, that's right. That's
Because you can
right. I
lose,
forgot all about that.
yeah, you can lose quiet permanently before the
Mm-hmm.
patch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, once you
when,
get the patch,
when
you
you
can get
get
it
her
back.
when you get her back, it doesn't even say it was just to get her back in on your team. It's not even like a storyline why you got her
No,
back,
there's a
right?
story.
Oh, is there? I don't remember. I
Yeah,
know, I'm pretty sure I did it. I just don't remember.
yeah, they like capture her and or what is it? She leaves. They capture her, and then there's like this the most like impossible of fucking missions ever. Like Jesse watched me do this shit like for hours,
Mm-hmm.
and I was also being stubborn because I already had the parasite suit, which is like the most OP thing ever.
Hmm.
And I was like, no, let me do this like as a fucking soldier, not as a goddamn superhuman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fucking hard. Like you can see any YouTuber out there when they get to that mission, they're like, dude, fuck this mission. It's absolute bullshit.
What is it? Like you just got to take out a bunch of guys or something, or?
It's like it's a wave after wave after wave thing
Mm-hmm.
while protecting quiet. I mean, it's not like she's helpless. She's also helping,
Mm-hmm.
but make sure she doesn't die. You're at that one place where it's like 3 floors in
Mm-hmm.
like a decimated building,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and there's just waves of fucking tanks coming at you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I definitely do remember doing that.
Yeah,
Um.
it's crazy. But yeah, and then you get her back. And that's where that's where she actually like speaks, because you guys like run off into the desert and you're like hiding from the enemy, and then you get bit by a fucking poisonous snake.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way for her to rescue you is that she has to speak English through the radio, but she's got the parasite, and that's the whole thing. Is like,
Mm.
did she infect other people? We don't fucking know. They never answered that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that there is story to quiet when you get her back.
Okay, okay, I can remember that. Ah, dude, I kind of have like a beef with Philanthropist because
Oh, I
like
have a huge beef with it.
I'm curious to see what Chris will say when we get there and everything. Like my beef, and this is again, it's one of those things where it's like we accept a lot of shit in this game. Like I get it, but it's also like, hold the phone. Like this thing is eons ahead
Leaks,
of anything we've fought in.
leaks.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like, where the fuck was this? Like in Metal Gear 1 and 2 and fucking Solid? And it's like, where the hell was that technology? I
if it
guess you
gets
can argue
stolen, where does it
Zero.
go?
Yeah, exactly. I guess Zero. You could argue Zero uses that technology for his arsenal and other shit. But yeah,
Same thing
it's
with
definitely one
Zeke.
of the. Yeah, exactly. Zeke was also leaked about. Yeah, very true.
What one thing I
Um,
don't like about both Zeke and Sahelanthropus is, why do they look like fucking Rex?
hmm,
Like, make unique designs. Like, I
yeah.
don't
I think that's
understand
why you really liked the acid one, huh? That's why you were super into that one.
acid.
Acid too. The purple green one. I don't remember his name. Metal Gear. God knows what his name was right now.
Purple green Metal Gear.
Yeah, no, from Acid. Acid too.
What the fuck did that one look like? I don't remember now. I know the acid one was like it looked like a big ass pillbox, and it had
Yeah,
those
which was very
missile wings
weird.
and shit. What the fuck
Yeah.
was 2, dude? I don't remember.
You don't remember? It looked like a
Oh.
little like a T-Rex or some shit. Well, that's what.
Yeah, but it didn't look like Rex.
No.
Yeah, it was unique. Yeah, I do. Okay, I do. I remember. Yeah,
It was like short. Yeah, like I said, everything I'm saying it sounds like Metal Gear Rex. So like it was short and stubby. It looked like no, and it was like it
But
looked
that shit was
different.
in the future, and it still looked nothing like Rex, right? So
No,
I just don't get why. Like, we get it. People really like Rex. Stop making things look like Rex. The geckos didn't need to look like Rex. Zeke didn't need to look like Rex.
You know
Fucking
what?
Sahelanthropus didn't need to look like Rex.
I wonder if like was it
Especially
the
since Metal Gear TX in Metal Gear 1 looks
uh,
fucking nothing like any of the Metal Gears
no.
ever in the rest of the series. And neither does Metal Gear D or Metal Gear 2. They all look fucking different. Even the one in Ghost Babel, Gander, doesn't
Mhm.
fucking look like Rex. So I don't know. I don't know. I do know why Sahelanthropus looks the way he does. They interviewed Yoji Shinkawa,
Mhm.
and Kojima just said, "Go nuts, draw whatever the fuck you want, and we'll put it in the game."
Mhm.
And so Yoji Shinkawa drew this fucking Metal Gear, and Kojima was like, "Fuck it, let's put it in." There's no canonical reason for it to look
Yeah.
that way.
No, and for it to have the abilities it had, it almost has like a nano machine kind of fucking technology going on with it.
It's got a
Uh,
fucking like fire laser whip, like
yeah, that
it's
hits the ground and then
bipedal. What the
spikes come
fuck?
out and shit. You know, it honestly, you know what it reminds me more of his other game, Zone of Enders.
Yes, very
It looks
much
like
that.
it fits more in there than fucking here.
Yeah, I do have a big
Um,
fucking beef with that.
like I said, and well, then you get the little mini Rexes that you can ride on and shit like that, or whatever they were called. I called them Rexes because they're bipedal, but
Oh, the
the
D-Walkers?
the D Walkers, that's what they're called. Again, that
I
one,
fucking
I'm
love those
like,
things.
I was gonna say they're cool as fuck. I will admit that they're a
They're so
little like,
broken, dude.
well, they're not only broken, but I'm like, okay, what these things, and I'll let those slide because there's a lot of shit we let slide, like the fucking floating platforms and
Yeah, yeah.
you know a lot of dumb shit. But you're like, all right, I'll give you that one. But Philanthropist, I'm like, that one's kind of like, come on, dude, like thing's so OP'd.
Yeah.
I just don't see how we would have taken that down with the technology you had. RPGs sevens, I think at most, and fucking, you know, like how the fuck did you take this thing down? You know.
And why didn't that technology get better as the games went along?
Yeah, but that's what I'm
Right?
saying. You could argue that Zero took it and then like kept it because we were talking about like how we
Oh,
always
right.
get the hand me downs of the army, and the army is getting shit from Zero, so it's like whatever he's got like deep ass stuff, you know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's no reference. Like if it was like I don't know, like if they were referenced it somewhere later on, like in the game, like saying like, oh, that's where they get the technology for fucking the Octo Camo, or that's where they get technology for Arsenal or something. Like, no, it was just his own badass Metal Gear. It's badass, but it doesn't seem like it fits, you know.
Yeah. It's really out of place.
It really, because like I said, because even like we were like in Metal Gear Solid 3, Shagohot, as weird and silly as it may be, this fucking thing with drills to move around.
Yeah.
It looks like it fits. You're like, yeah, I could see this shit being around in the 60s, you know, this giant
Yeah.
piece of fucking metal. Yeah, sure.
The first iteration of the idea of a
A
nuclear
mobile tank, yeah, a
a
mobile
mobile
tank,
tank, yeah.
yeah, a nuclear
A
tank. You're
nuclear
right on
mobile
that.
tank, yeah.
Like you said, the Metal Gear. What was it from fucking T whatever?
D from 2.
No, and the other one from one.
TX
Yeah,
Metal Gear TX. Fuck, I already forgot there's a number to
like I know, like
it.
50 or 60 or something, 90. I don't remember. But
Yeah.
point being is those look like they belong,
Yeah.
like in game and in artwork. In the artwork, you're like, yeah, that looks like something that would exist in the fucking, you know, in the time and era that it's taking place. You know.
That's what I was really hoping with 5 is I was like, "Ooh, are we going to see like the first iteration of TX? God damn it, what the hell is it called? Whatever.
Look.
TX5, I think. You know, with the weird like cuz they were circular. They weren't like these jagged boxy things, you know, like the top was all like circular and it's actually like the opposite of Sahelanthropus. The top half is more round and you know, looking and the legs were more squarish and mechanical looking.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have a huge fucking problem. I don't even like fighting it.
Oh, really?
It's not.
T-
Yeah, I don't like fighting fucking Sahelanthropus.
it's TX55. Um,
55. I knew there was a fucking 5.
uh, yeah, no, it's it definitely doesn't feel like it belongs. But no, like you're right. I remember too, like thinking like, cool, we're gonna get a Metal Gear. It's in 1984, whenever this game's taking place, so it's gonna look more like that kind of Metal Gear. So I was because even in Peace Walker, all those are they just called Metal Gears, right? I'm assuming the
The
Chrysalis and the Pupa and all those are they considered Metal Gears?
yeah, I guess yeah.
Like even those guys look like they belong there, you know?
The
Like
one
one of
that
them,
doesn't is fucking Peace Walker itself. Like that one is so far ahead of Rex that I'm like, why does this one also exist here? What the shit?
true. Well, you already talked about Zeke being way above it, above Peace Walker, you know?
Yeah,
But yeah, so I was totally interested in like looking at this big fucking robot that's gonna be clunky, you know, but will be a force to reckon with. Something that will be but as much as I hate to say it, like it was a big action fight, and it
Yeah.
shouldn't have been. It should have been more of a stealth or more of
You
a
know what they should have
strategy,
had you
like,
do?
huh?
They should have had you fucking plant C4 on the legs in a certain sequence.
I know, right?
That would have been a good fucking throwback. Well, I don't know. I'm still just this theory has kind of consumed me. It's made me like the game a lot more. To me, this is my headcanon. That I am Gray Fox in 5. I don't see any reason not to believe it. I don't believe that I was a medic. I believe I was meant to think that because it's a good cover. I'd be like, oh, you're the closest one to Big Boss because you're his doctor.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't think there was a medic ever. There's medics everywhere. There's
Mhm.
no reason for you to have one specific medic by your side 24/7.
No.
You would have your bodyguard with you all the
Yeah,
time.
your lieutenant or your general, whatever, yeah, that rank would be,
Yeah.
which would be Gray Fox.
Yeah.
or
No, but yeah.
or hmm?
No. I was just agreeing. But yeah, I mean, what other things can we?
The whole voice thingy.
Oh, right.
I forgot how that works. Like I said, don't tell me too much because, like I said, I'm going to replay it, so I want to remember stuff. It was implanted and it was designed to activate with only certain languages per person, right? So, like for her, it was English, or
For
was it just quiet?
for English was one of them. Yeah, for quiet.
Okay,
So that's why she
okay,
wasn't speaking.
that's
She
what.
could.
Yeah, Navajo,
Yeah.
right? Is that
Yes, she could speak Navajo because that wasn't one of the infected languages, but English
one of the
was.
triggers or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because then Eli was also infected with English. I would argue, right? But Mantis pulls it out of him in the chapter 3, right?
think so, man. I don't remember that shit.
I believe so. I believe in chapter 3 he pulls it out of him, or maybe even I don't remember. But yeah, damn it. Like I said, am I starting to accept more and more that this was done on purpose? Yeah, I am. It doesn't make me happy, but because it's like
What?
I wanted to see more. I don't know. It's weird. Because what does Eli do? You fight him once, and you bring him to Mother Base. You don't ever actually fight him in Metal Gear, right? That was only the lost quote unquote chapter, right?
Yeah,
You don't actually ever fight him, right?
correct.
Don't you fight him one more time in Mother Base?
You have like a little side mission where it's almost like a hide and seek with them.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
Yeah. You only fight him twice. You remember the Colonel AI naming
Mm-hmm.
off the subway stations?
Mm-hmm.
They do that in multiple games. Raiden does it in 4 when he's like all fucked up. It
Which I never
happens in.
noticed because.
Yeah, me neither. I never noticed that until they pointed it out. It happens to you in Ground Zeroes at a certain point. Like the game looks like it crashes, which I'd never seen until this last time I was playing it. I was like, oh fuck, I've actually never seen this. And same thing. It's like, I can't think of any of the fucking, Yamasuta or whatever the fucking Nagasaki,
Yeah.
whatever the subway station are. And same thing in Phantom Pain. If you trank Ocelot, he
He'll
starts
say
saying
it.
that shit also.
Uh-huh.
And even all the way back to MGS1, Gray Fox also says that shit. The whole like
Mm-hmm,
that's what he's doing is he's saying those words, and it's like that's such a weird detail to put in. I mean, it has nothing to do with the theory, but it's funny when they put it in the video. I was
mm-hmm.
like, huh, that's actually a pretty cool thing to point out that I never
Little
noticed.
Easter egg. Well, you could argue that maybe those are like 2 + 2 = 5 key words to continue to fool yourself.
Okay, yeah,
Like rambling on these things. It's more of an Easter egg, but like you can argue that's why Ocelot does it. Because who would remember this random ass fucking sequence of train stations? Like why would you ever say that?
yeah.
For Raiden, definitely probably an Easter egg for Sunny. I think doesn't this theory talk about that? That like why would she
Oh,
be
she sings
singing?
that too.
Yeah, and they were saying like, oh well, because she was in Patriot Control, so like or in like their hideout or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah,
So like she might have heard these Ocelot coming in and saying Nagasaki, and so therefore she heard this shit, and her being kind of a prodigy would just remember it, not knowing
right.
what the fuck it means.
Yeah,
Raiden definitely probably just an Easter egg, but as far as Gray Fox saying it as a cyber ninja, again, because he knew the truth, he knew the lie, which was whichever one you want to believe in, with that he was Big Boss or that Big Boss wasn't Big Boss.
yeah.
I remember. It's interesting if we'll get to it and talk to Chris about this. That whole scandal that went down with that real world doctor
Oh yeah,
That yeah, that whole
looks
like that
exactly like the guy.
and was like his book or whatever he written was like very similar to the whole the big chill, the big shell, this and that. I mean, like down like one by it was a 1-to-1 almost. And this guy was going to be doing the first of human head transplant
Oh
from
yeah.
one body to another. And I was going to say the victim, not the victim. The patient's name was, I believe, if I remember correctly, was Victor something V. I was like, what the fuck? It's like something's going on. Like something's up.
So was
Last
that
time,
all just like a what's the word? Because we never heard anything about it afterwards.
no,
Like, was
like a
it
stunt.
just? Yeah, yes, like a just for publicity's sake.
Um, so I looked into it not too long ago because I was actually genuinely curious as to like how the world's first fucking head transplant went. And again, it seems like it's a legit thing. It didn't happen because it was supposed to happen like in 2020 something, and it didn't happen. And the patient Victor or something, I believe, backed out and said like, nah, like because again, it's no guarantee it's
That's
gonna
crazy.
work.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
would?
like you're not guaranteed. Well, because I think he's like completely paralyzed. Like he's just
Ah, okay.
yeah,
He had
yeah. That
nothing to
whole
lose, so pretty much.
not pretty much, but he was like, nah, never mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fucking scary, dude. I mean, that's nuts. I mean, yeah.
yeah.
So
Voluntarily get decapitated.
and then hope that you fucking get to come back to life.
Shit. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, that's scary. But again, the scariest thing is just like how everything was so coincidence. It was like, was this supposed to be part of a marketing scheme at some point? Like who fuck it? Or
Yeah.
did or was Kojima just stealing ideas from the fucking out in the world and shit? Just like
Yeah. Just using
oh
everything as an influence. Yeah.
yeah, who fucking knows? Like yeah, because again, like as time goes on, more and more and more, like there's so many famous quote unquote. Sorry, not to say quote unquote. Sorry, so many composers from video games that iconic themes, the Mario theme and the Zelda theme, and it's like actually this was sampled from this group from
Yeah.
fucking 19 and fucking Dr. Dre. There's a lot of his music that's like actually also samples from other shit from back in the 60s or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, likewise, did Kojima read some book somewhere that's so obscure that he's like, dude, I'm gonna make a game based off of this, and then later on, like, dude, that's fucking Metal Gear. Who knows?
Well, we talked about the theme
Yeah,
of
that
Metal
one
Gear
thing. Yeah,
Solid.
yeah. I was gonna
It's
say that was part of it too.
yeah, it's a Russian like actual theme there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is the eye. Gray Fox's white eye, which I'd
Mm-hmm.
never really thought about until this video came out. But yeah, Gray Fox has a white eye, which completely contradicts the whole Big Boss has no eye. Big Boss has no eye. Gray Fox has a white eye, and Venom Snake has a white eye. That's another like big ass thing that I cannot let go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know, man. It's hard to not believe it. And I know I'm sure there's listeners out there who are like, this motherfucker's drinking the Kool-Aid and he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, it helps me enjoy the game more than I already did. I already love 5. I know it has problems. But it's probably the game I've played the most out of the entire Metal Gear series, including 1. Like I've played through 1 multiple times, but the one I put the most hours into is 5. It's
Yeah.
just an overall great gameplay experience. It's a sandbox. It lets me play with the AI. I feel like a fucking badass. I don't I don't think I've ever necessarily felt the need to be Big Boss, which I think is what everyone else who's mad about it is their reason, right? Because they're like, well, you're not really Big Boss, and it's like, who fucking cares? How many games do we actually get to play as Big Boss? We play
Mm-hmm.
more games as Solid Snake than we do as Big Boss, and it doesn't bother me. Like I don't care who the fuck I'm playing as.
You just want a good
As
game.
yeah, I just want a good game, and I want it to advance the story, and that's what it did. And that was my problem with 4 is the gameplay was there, not enough of it for me to really play with it. And I know people are tired of hearing me say this, but 4 didn't advance the story at all for me. Like I didn't give a shit. The exposition, sure, that explains some stuff that later gets answered in Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes and 5. It was necessary for those games to exist. But like as far as the ending, like I just who cares at that point? Like Chris, I think said it best by like saying that Snake should have died. He should have gotten a hero's end. His journey was over. There's no reason for him to have survived long enough to hear Big Boss's long ass fucking bullshit story. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't know. That's me. I got more out of the story in 5 than I did out of 4.
Well, I would argue four was never made to expand on it. It was supposed to close it all up.
Right, but I don't
Five,
know. To me, then
five,
I don't know. Yeah, good.
no, no, five was the one where I was kind of like interested in, is like where is it going to take us, since we quote unquote had all our answers answered, for the
Yeah,
lack of better, for better or for worse, like whether it was a good explanation or not, they were more or less answered in four. So I was interested in where five was going to go. Because I'm cool, because Peace Walker came after that, and Peace Walker, I was like, okay, I'm Big Boss again, and this is more about like how he built Outer Haven, which I was like, well, I always thought they showed us that in Peace Walker. I mean, in Portable Ops. I'm like, all right, fine. So it's just a retelling or whatever you want to consider it. And then we get five. But that one, to me, it doesn't. I don't know. It didn't give me more that I wanted. Like, we didn't see anything more in terms of like, because this is way after Liz Fonterri project, so we only got a small glimpse of Zero of Liquid. There was no mention of like what was his name Solidus was doing at this point, where he was at. I don't know. And then for like this whole focus of Zero, like Zero wasn't in this game. It was fucking Skullface. And Skullface, that's another issue I have. It's like,
yeah, he was a wasted bad guy.
The theories from the original theories back in the day, where that like Skullface was going to be Zero, or and stuff like that. So much shit. And one of the issues I have, and I'm interested to see what Chris will have to say about this, but like I wasn't sold on the idea that Fox, i.e., Big Boss, was this super elite soldier who was able to sneak into Russia and carry out this super secret mission. But then it turns out that no, Skullface and his XOF unit were behind us the whole time, cleaning up, making sure the mission got done. Mm-hmm. So what's the point of sending a single guy in if you're just going to be sending other soldiers behind him to clean it up? What's the point of, what's his name, the CIA director or whoever the fuck it was, like, we can use a unit like him in the army, or whatever the fuck that speech is. Like, you already do have them, since we never knew they were there. It gives me Black Cauldron vibes now that we played Ghost Babel. I was like,
yeah,
it's like, wait, so you were there the whole time? Like, I don't know. I just don't like that, because it's just like, so who was cleaning up behind XOF? Like, was someone else behind them cleaning up behind them? It's like,
it's a whole Who Watches the Watchmen.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah, I didn't see a purpose to Skullface either. I think it was just more convoluted side story stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, again, like Black Cauldron kind of thing. I don't like his motive. It's, you got all the spotlight and we were the ones, so now I hate you. Bitch, I didn't ask for any of this. Like, I'm just a soldier doing my job, taking up with the fucking CIA, like, what the fuck?
Plus, none of us is supposed to get the fucking spotlight. We're covert ops.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly, right? And then, and I get it. Like, God forbid that it ever happens to me or anyone we know, or, hopefully it never happens in the future ever again to anyone out there. But it's like the whole concept of like, my country was bombed and I was left for dead, and now I have a hatred for, the U.S. It's like, but the U.S. didn't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't the whole country.
Yeah, it was a fucking, the leaders, go check them out,
Yeah, who ordered the hits? Who was actually responsible? Who pulled the trigger?
Yeah, exactly. It's like bombing the New York, or that whole mentality of like, your government did this to my people, so I'm gonna bomb innocent fucking people. It's like, why? Go bomb the fucking. Sorry, don't. Yeah. I was gonna say something, but like, yeah, never mind. I won't say it.
Yeah. Point your aggression in the right direction.
Exactly.
That was the whole problem with 9/11. Is oh my God, brown people attacked us. Hate all brown people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, over there on that side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was funny. I forget, some comedian was kind of saying like that after 9/11, like even this was Robert Williams. After 9/11, like white people were finally okay with like black and brown people here in the U.S. and they were concentrating on brown people on that side, going like, "Oh, you're the enemy," and it's just like, dude, they're fucking people too, and it wasn't the whole fucking country, dude. Like,
well, like I said, likewise, the people who executed that
that operation,
the attack, it's like, why are you attacking the trade centers? Like, what did they do to you? It's like, like, go after again the people that have more to do with the crimes that were committed against you.
Yeah.
I guess it's more of like a getting attention. Like, well, it's just we can't go after them. We'll just go after innocent civilians. I don't know. That never sits well with me in movies, games, or in real life. Whenever I do hear stories about this, I'm like, dude, that's so pointless because it just sparks this. You did this. Well, no, what is that? That old rivalry, the Hatfields and McCoys or whatever. It's
Okay. Yeah.
like how far back do you need to go until one of you just says like, you know what? Like we should stop fucking killing each other. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the best way to put it is Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted revenge on Ronan
Mm-hmm.
because Ronan killed his family. And once Ronan was gone, it's like, okay, well, you got your revenge. And he's like, well, Ronan's gone, but it's actually Thanos I need to kill because
Mm-hmm.
Thanos sent Ronan out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, yeah, where does it end?
Yeah.
Once you kill
Well,
Thanos, then what do you kill? You go and kill his already dead planet of Titan.
yeah,
Like, what
yeah,
do you do?
yeah. His mom and dad for giving birth to him.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like you
where
kill
does it end?
Ronan, yeah, and then Ronan's kids kill you, and then your kids kill them. It's like, when do you say, you know what? The sins of our fathers are done
Ex-
and buried. Let's move on.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, like I said, that there's so much hate in the real world, but like I said, the whole Pearl Harbor and any things like that too. It's like, imagine if we still had hostility toward Japan over Pearl Harbor. Like the people today that are alive today in Japan have nothing to do with that. And
yeah.
likewise, here the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The people alive today have nothing to do with those bombings. So it's like, why hold this hate? Like bad shit happened for the people, and the decisions were made for people at that time, and we
Yeah,
have
let's
to
just not repeat the same mistakes.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say this: promise not to do the same
Yeah,
thing,
don't fucking do it again. Just
not
stop.
to follow in their footprints. Yeah, they both made bad decisions. It doesn't matter who started it. It's over. Let's move on.
Like honestly, the most effective thing has been these games. For me and my mentality. Like I said, I had never seen a nuclear explosion
Hmm.
until there was that live footage of it in Metal Gear Solid 1, and I was like, wait, that's what it looked like? Like that's fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And when you learn like why those bombs were actually dropped, it's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel so guilty for being descendants of those people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not me personally, because my descendants were not from this country, but like to be a part of the country that did that in the past, it instills like this empathy in me that I'm like, God, I hope we never do anything that crazy again
Oh
because
no. Yeah.
that country did not deserve that. They fucking pretty much already surrendered, and we bombed them twice. Like, what the fuck was the point?
One would have been suffice to say, hey, we got one more.
Yeah, yeah, they just did it twice to just fucking be like, look, we can do it
It
again.
was the nail in the hammer, or the nail in the coffin. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah. But the first one
it,
wasn't even
it,
necessary either. They were already giving up, and it's
it,
just like, dude.
yeah. There's a lot of shit that
But yeah, no,
that
I
happens.
I have these games to thank for that mentality. Like this is the way you deal with, like you said, the sins of our fathers. Is
Mm-hmm.
you show it, you share the history, and you go like, look, this is what happened. This is what happened between us. We fucked up. You guys fucked up. Let's not do it again. Don't
Mm-hmm.
forget it. Don't forget it, but don't hold it against each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's again, like exactly like first generation, I can understand you both were, but once it gets to like I said, the Hatfields and McCloys, whatever those people are, or any
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of bullshit like
The West
that.
Virginia family, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
that story is also
The
crazy.
the Romeo and Juliets of the like, oh yeah, 1,000 years ago, they stole one of our pigs, and ever since then, like, dude, that what the fuck? And so we're killing each other over something that happened fucking that long ago. Like,
Yeah, because
yeah, that's ridiculous.
if Kojima still held a fucking grudge, like the
Mhm.
way like you're saying that family does, we would have never gotten these games.
No.
But instead, he chose to educate the world with his games, which is a way bigger fucking weapon than
Hmm.
anything, right?
Hmm.
He obviously he's altering certain things in history to work for the game, but they're around real events that really did affect the world. So yeah, I don't even know how we got on the subject, but yeah, I'm thankful
uh,
for this series for that. Yeah.
no. I was gonna say I was gonna bring up the point that so one of the mechanics in this game that is really really fucking cool, and God man, like I can't wait till I get to it again. I don't even know if it still works. You tell me. That going into people's FOBs and stealing from them or
Oh hell yeah,
dismantling their it's still up. Damn,
I
the
fucking love
servers
doing
are.
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a cool concept. And it really was just like, can we work together as a fucking
To disarm all
as a
nuclear bombs.
nation, yeah, of gamers, and we couldn't do it officially.
Nope,
No,
nope.
not especially not with your goddamn PC motherfuckers that just fucking like spawn in a million fucking nukes just out
Oh
of nowhere.
yeah, yeah. There was a lot of hacking going on.
It's like, oh fuck, we were so close. It's like, nah, never mind. Click one button, we're fucking 1,000 nukes.
It's not like that
Um,
nowadays. Like it's pretty empty. I
mhm,
mean, there's still people's FOBs out there and shit. But one thing I haven't seen since the launch of the game is people spawning because they get alerted if you fucking alert their shit.
mhm,
People don't spawn in anymore. Like I don't know if it's that they don't care or that they're just definitely not that many people online anymore to be like, oh shit,
mhm.
someone's in my fucking FOB right now. I gotta abandon whatever mission I'm doing right now to go help my FOB.
I don't think I ever had anyone come in to defend their FOB.
When it was on PS4 for me when I was doing it a lot, it
Hmm.
they did for sure.
Yeah.
And also while I was in the middle of missions, I would get the alert and I would be like, oh shit, and literally you could be like, go defend your FOB. You fuck them up, and then it drops you right back into the middle of the quest that you were, or the mission that you were on.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, that was always cool. A cool little mechanic, that because like I said, it brought in this whole like ideology or this concept again of like, you want to do the good thing, like this is what the big boss would quote unquote try to do, like I don't know, what I'm saying, like, are we gonna be assholes and just make fucking nukes because we can, or are we gonna try to stop all the nukes, because we should,
so that is kind of the message I got out of this game is will you choose to be the big boss the world saw,
Hmm.
this nuke loving wants to take over the world
Mercenary dictator, yeah, the villain.
terrorists, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yep.
Or are you going to be the big boss that all these people who
That his soldiers
that
saw.
praise you,
Yeah.
that say you're this great man? So
Mhm.
that's what this game is to me for sure. Like I can never go full evil. Like it's really hard for me to do that. I know
Mhm.
there's times where I think when I first started playing the game, like my horn was getting bigger.
Mm, mm,
The thing embedded in your brain,
mhm,
that shit would get bigger the more evil shit you did, like the more people you killed and stuff.
mhm,
Um, like that definitely did happen to me, but I don't know. The person inside me, whatever Kojima instilled in me was just like, nah, I can't be that guy.
mhm.
Especially after you murder like a bunch of your own dudes. It's just like, oh my god, I really can't be that guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
But
but no, yeah, there's a lot of I gotta like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I'm also probably missing because like I said, I've only played it once, so I gotta replay it again.
mhm.
When you beat it the first time and you go back to replay missions, do you get to see like can you like pretty much is it a new game plus or do you have to like redo like restart a new file or how does that work? Like if you want to see the entire game for like from beginning to end again.
You can just play however you want. Like it's everything's open to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to start a new game.
So you can just start like mission one again and it would
Yep.
play out like okay. That's what I couldn't remember.
I mean, it encourages you to do that because of all the S rank stuff that you can get.
Yeah.
Um,
What's crazy is I never went back and did a lot of S ranks for some reason. I definitely did have a lot. This sucks that I'm not. Well, I guess I could always pop out my PS4. But yeah, I had a decent base. I had a decent base with some decent research R&D developed. So.
yeah, like for a minute, I was almost like, oh, when we get to 5, I'll fucking delete my save and start from scratch.
Mhm.
And like I'm so deep that I'm like, oh god, no, I can't do that. Like I've unlocked so much stuff that it would kill me to start a new file.
Mhm.
I'd have to like do it on another account. I'd have to do it like on my wife's account or something.
Mhm.
Because I do not want to lose the stuff I got. But also, like you said, you can just go back to mission 1 and play it like normal, and in that order. And then that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it naked, of course, because that's my preferred way of playing. Like if I really want to fuck with the AI, I'll be all decked out and shit. But
Mhm.
I like playing naked, and there's even mods that'll take away your primary and secondary weapon because you always have to have a primary and secondary,
Mhm.
and everything else can be empty. But there's a mod that can take both of those away, and the only thing you literally have is your mechanical hand.
Mhm.
And so you have to procure weapons on site, which makes the game fucking way harder, but like more interesting, at least to me.
Did you tell me what the camo you said did? The what'd you call it? The
The parasite.
Yeah, what does that one do? I don't think I ever got that one.
So you remember the skulls, right?
Hmm.
There's different type of skulls. There's the
Chunky
female
ones.
skulls. Yeah, the chunky
Uh-huh.
ones that are armored. So
Hmm.
basically, you can pop this shit that makes you like super fucking armored. The women, the snipers, you get stealth camo from them,
Okay.
and then there's the ones that they're not armored, but they what are they? I don't know exactly what they are, but they give you the mist,
Okay.
and so you still have to like harvest them in missions. Like you don't just get this shit for free.
Okay.
So you have to harvest like the mist stuff, the stealth stuff, and the armor stuff from each one of them. And yeah, basically you become like this fucking indestructible like monster of a soldier.
Hmm.
And yeah, like there's no penalty as far as like your ranking. As far as I can tell, like because I've used the ones that always like ding me is if I use like the actual camo, like the actual stealth camo that you develop in your R&D. It's
Hmm.
separate from the parasite suit stealth. Wait, does it actually penalize your S rank? I might be speaking out of turn, I don't remember. But dude, it's like it makes missions like cake.
Oh yeah.
It's like completely the opposite side of the spectrum of playing naked. So usually I do that when I'm like frustrated with a mission where I'm like, you know what? I just need to take out my aggression and I'll just go get the parasite suit and I'll just start fucking everybody up. Like not murdering, but just like going in, knocking them out, Fulton. Like it's cheat mode and it's super
Hmm.
fun.
But like, it doesn't do anything extra for like CQC, or since it's parasite. I thought maybe like it would knock them out or something like that. Or
Well, no, I mean you just have the same CQC things. It's just you just have these extra. You have the abilities of the skulls.
oh, okay.
Basically, yeah, you
Yeah, I never
become one
got
of
that for
them.
sure. Definitely never got that.
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass to get. And I remember when I was playing one day on Discord. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Mr. Robot was watching me, and I was like, yeah, I could just grab the fucking parasite suit and just do this mission,
Hmm.
but like I feel like that's cheating. And he's like, well, you earned it, and I was like, you're right. I mean, I did spend fucking hours and hours getting this suit, but you know, like I said, I'm like a little too proud sometimes, and I'm like, I want to do this the way Venom would have done it. Like he wouldn't have grabbed the suit; he would have just
Hmm.
fucking done it like a G. So the video flash this thing that I kind of forgot to mention is the ending of 5
Hmm.
has you listening to a tape labeled "The Man Who Sold the World," and on the other side it says Operation N3 something.
Hmm.
I think we all assumed it was N313,
Hmm.
right? Because that's the
Yeah.
operation where it's Solid Snake going in, and in the background you hear all these gunshots and whatever and
Hmm.
stuff. I actually don't think it's N313.
No.
I think it's N312
Okay.
because that's the one where quote unquote Gray Fox goes in and gets captured.
Hmm.
So I think that's what we're hearing is well, I mean, I don't know if that's what we're hearing. I don't know. It's hard to say, but why not show the whole thing? Why block out the last two numbers?
So it does block out those last two numbers.
Yeah, you never get to
Okay.
see past N3. So yeah, I
Now
don't, I don't know about that.
I know it plays like you can hear this weird audio coming out of it, and people
Yeah,
deciphered it's I don't know if it's a bit something data. I don't know. People I think did play run that through the bit decoder or some shit like that. But I don't
yeah.
remember
It's the first game. It's Metal Gear
it.
One
Okay, it is
in
Metal Gear
audio
One.
form,
Okay, okay.
which is odd. A weird thing to do.
Oh, because then when like he smashes the mirror again, this game is all about what can you trust, man. And here at the end of the day, we keep going around in circles. It's like what is real and what's not, dude. Like, did they do a double face swap? Did they not? Did fucking did was Ground Zeroes in Venom's head, or was that legit? Or like there's so much shit that you just
Yeah,
were you both in comas or only one of you or what like there's so much like you said the phantom pain is 100% real in this game because that again that's why I'm like fuck I wanted so much more. That's why I'm also like I want to be on the side that says it was unfinished even though like it could absolutely be on purpose, which to me that kind of sucks too because I'm like damn it, like why would you do this to us?
for that reason. Just like so like my whole thing with MGS4, Mr. Robot also pointed out that it does kind of reflect Kojima being tired of this series. And maybe that is why I felt attacked by this game because it was just like Kojima saying, I'm fucking tired of this, dude. Like, can you stop asking me for this game? I mean, you guys fucking threatened my life for me to make this stupid fucking game. It's a fucking video game. And maybe that's why I feel that way about 4 is because maybe I felt that message a little too real coming from Kojima, and everybody else was just like, "This was the ending we always wanted," and I'm like, "No, this doesn't feel like this. It really feels like he didn't want to do this." And I feel like to me that feels like it was on purpose. And the more I analyze 5, I felt that phantom pain until I saw this theory. Like once I saw this theory, I felt peace. I felt, what chapter 3 says, peace. I was like, yeah, this makes sense. This answers all the questions I've ever had about fucking Venom Snake and his identity and stuff, because the medic does not make any fucking sense. It's stupid. Why would a medic be trained in CQC and all this shit? And I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be that Ocelot trained you to know all this CQC, but Ocelot isn't that great at CQC. Not better than Big Boss.
No,
And
no,
the only
absolutely.
soldier that could easily be woken up and wiped of memory and put out there on the field is Null.
Mhm.
We saw it in Portable Ops. He's the Winter Soldier. He's the Manchurian Candidate. He's the guy you just like wipe your memory. Okay, go kill. Go do what we
He's
tell you to
Jason
do.
Bourne.
Exactly. Go do what we tell you to do, and he'll do it. Not a fucking medic. That I don't buy that. It's dumb. But yeah, I don't know. That's how I found peace with this game. I don't feel that phantom pain anymore.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it's like I said, it's a game I've only played once, and I definitely didn't what you call it 100%. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to replaying it because I did like it. Like I said, the gameplay is fucking fun as hell.
Yeah, no, that shit's hella good.
And like I said, I'm definitely probably going to bust out my PS4. I'm not starting from scratch. No, fuck that.
Yeah,
No, I was like really thinking about like, nah, I'm keeping all my shit.
yeah,
Because I want to actually, I also want to see how much shit I actually developed, like how much R&D I had and stuff. I'm curious.
yeah. Oh yeah, and then we also we see Psycho Mantis in this.
Yeah, yeah, Psychomantis, a young Psychomantis, child Psychomantis.
Yeah.
The other thing that I don't know if it's an issue, it's just a question mostly. It's like I don't understand why like Ground Zeroes was all about rescuing Paz and Chico, and they die, and then that's it. Like not that I think they should have like they could have had a more greater purpose in the series or anything like that, but
Mhm.
it did feel very weird. I was like, well, what's the fucking point then? Like they could have just told us, but it was Paz. Like I don't know, what the fuck was Chico there for?
Well,
Because like the
it
pause angle,
was
it was like she has info on Cypher. She knows where he's at. She's been in communications with him.
it was to lure you out. So the whole thing was Paz got captured, and
Did she
Chico went to go
survive the
rescue
battle?
you.
And
To
then
rescue
yeah.
her, and you were mostly there for Chico, but also you didn't want to see Paz die either. Like you're still like, yeah, she fucked up, whatever. And the whole point was to get you away from Mother Base, so that whatever inspection, that fake inspection, could happen,
Hmm.
so they could destroy your Mother Base. Like it was all a setup.
Hmm.
So Chico and Paz were yeah, they were bait, expendable bait.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of Ground Zeroes.
Which is funny because like in Peace Walker, it wasn't until like after I beat the game and like I mean fucking a year or two later or something like that, I was on some forum or some shit. And I don't remember her name. Cecilia, I think her name is the photographer chick.
Oh, yeah,
Cecile
Cecile?
or something like
Or
that.
was it Sophie?
Cecile. No, no, it was Cecilia, something like
Cecile?
that.
Okay.
Cecile, maybe.
Yeah, the French chick.
She was all talking about how like her and her friend were in the fucking jungle taking pictures, and she got
Right.
lost or something. And then like you were like, oh, maybe that's her friend is, and then her friend's never found. It's fucking never mentioned ever again. It's like
That's true,
gone.
yeah.
You're like, reminds me of like, Metal Gear Solid 2 with like, some of our side characters that came in, not Solid 2, sorry, Metal Gear 2, 2 or even Snake's Revenge, it's like yes, these guys that like were on our side and then just, they're gone. They get captured, never seen
Yeah,
again.
Six Revenge at the beginning. Yeah, those two other guys you landed with, gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so that never gets explained in any way. So again, it doesn't add to the story. It is just funny.
Yep. They're just what is the word? Casualties of war.
Yeah, just moved on. The argument could be made that since they don't add to the story,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
yes, we found them. Oh yeah, we found them a long time ago. Whatever. But it is super funny though.
Yeah. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, it really is. Like yeah. Don't worry. Oh yeah, speaking of, I'm looking at pictures and shit here. Speaking of technology and shit that feels outdated, like god damn it, like your stupid holographic iPad
Your
thing with.
iDroid.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? It's cool as hell, but I'm like, how
and
the
yet the
fuck is this?
and yet the latest technology is a cassette tape.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
They're like
Oh
this new
man,
technology coming out of Japan. It's a cassette tape. Like,
that's a
what? I got a
cassette.
fucking hologram. What do you mean?
I got like, not only that, but then like the a lot of people hated it. But it's one of those things. Like a lot of this game or these games, technically, you don't have to do anything in any way.
That you don't want to.
Yeah. So it's just like you don't have to mark soldiers down. Like I won't lie, like I marked them down, but I did hate marking them down because I was like, I know where they're at now. I know like this is wall hacks. I know what they're doing. I know when they're looking away at any given time, you know.
Yeah.
But just don't mark them. You know, like you don't have to mark them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you absolutely don't have to. You can
But it,
use
but
your
it,
fucking. Did you ever develop the bionic hand that punches the ground?
I don't think so. No,
Yeah, you punch the ground and it goes like
a
the
sonar. I
$6 million
might have.
man, and it fucking
Okay.
like shows you where everyone is for like a just like or where they were at the moment that you punched, so
Yeah,
you
I
kind of have
might
an
have
idea of
then.
where they are.
I
Is that?
I did. I
I
don't know
wonder if
what I made and what I
that's
saw.
maybe that's on all the arms. Now that I think about it, I'm not too sure because I barely use that.
Hmm.
But
I know that you develop the fucking portal where you can fucking
yes, yes, the
what the
wormhole.
fuck? Yeah.
I fucking love the wormhole, dude. Goddamn, that saves my ass so many times because you could just fucking Fulton people inside.
Mm.
And I think that was a joke about Peace
Yeah.
Walker because Peace Walker you can Fulton inside buildings and it's like that doesn't
Yeah.
make any fucking sense. So I feel like in this one they were like, you know what, we're gonna make you earn that and we'll call it the
Yeah.
wormhole.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. No, for sure. Like the wormhole felt like it was a big like this is post game because you don't get it during the main storyline. It's post. You know.
Well, I
It's.
mean, it's as early as you can develop it.
Oh, really? You could get it early as hell. You think?
Yeah, as,
Okay.
as yeah, as soon as you get to that spot in your
Um.
development thing, yeah, in your
No, really?
development tree.
Okay. But either way, like I said, it definitely feels like it's like it's an inside joke, just like the infinite bandana and the infinite stealth, the stealth bandana. You
Yeah,
know, like if you had this, like why the fuck would you ever? But it's just new game plus, just for fun, you know. And this game's not new game plus, but it's like, hey, it's for fun, dude. It's a game. It's kind of to
yeah.
remind us
There's
as much seriousness as goes on in this, as much like
exactly,
real world not parodies, what's the word I'm looking for, real world
but just what
coincidence or
it's
similarities.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
game, don't forget about it, guys. It's for fun.
yeah. It's based on real world shit, but here's some fun
Hmm.
stuff.
Exactly. But yeah, the wormhole, the fucking yeah, your iDroid, god damn, dude, that thing was I always was like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's cool as hell, but I'm like, where the fuck was this in solid, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Seriously. So, well, another thing I want to talk about is the mission based stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, one of our producers, Mr. Lalo,
Mm-hmm.
is not a fan of the mission based stuff. But I'm of the mind that all three of those games, Portable Ops, Peace Walker, and this game, or
Mm-hmm.
not this game, but and five, don't work unless they're mission based because you're meant to see how he builds his army. And you can't do that in a linear, single player game like Snake Eater. Snake Eater is an origin story of Naked Snake. And then after that, it's how he builds his army because that's what we're supposed to be seeing is how all that comes to fruition and what kind of a man he's going to become. Like I said, right? You decide in five. Will you be that terrorist that everyone believes Big Boss is, or are you going to
Mm-hmm.
be that great man that is beloved by many soldiers? You
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the mission based stuff just it makes sense. Um,
I think I would have to agree with him, but at the same time, like, say it could have been done better. I don't think it just flat out doesn't work. Like, I think they should have been like progression missions and then fucking side missions or something like that. You know, which it is like that technically, right?
yeah, that's exactly how it is.
That's how it is. But like,
You don't have to do any side missions. You don't have to develop R&D. You can go straight through the story. It'll
mhm,
be fucking harder, but
it
yeah,
would
you
be
can totally
harder.
do it. Yeah. I mean, once you get good at it, yeah, you don't have to do any fucking side mission. Like I said, I do shit naked. You could totally do the whole fucking game bare bones.
I guess that's how it is. Because Peace Walker, I don't remember enough of Peace Walkers. I can't really speak on that one.
Same with that one. There's a shit ton of side missions, but yeah, you can just do story and that's it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I
I
mean
guess
that's
because this was a main. This was like a main console entry. Seeing it mission based felt weird, if anything.
I get that. But how else would this have worked otherwise? Honestly.
No, no, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what it just feels weird because like mission base always feels like it's something smaller, like it's broken up into chunks versus one whole segment, if you will.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, yeah. I guess you're right. You could absolutely just do the mission, the main missions only. Because like I don't remember enough, but yeah, you're right. Okay, let's go back to Portal Ops, a game that I played. I beat like 3 times during our session here. You can progress. Just clicking on what's next. What's next? As long as you got soldiers in the right areas, they'll tell you like, oh, we found this in this section. Cool. You go to the next section.
Right.
You can always go back and visit the hospital to grab the supplies. You can always go back to any other point in time and do anything else. So yeah, I guess it works just fine. Again, I think it just feels weird. I don't mind it. I guess I don't mind it. I'll be on that camp. I don't think I like it because you just wanted to see such a large overarching story that when it's broken up into, how many is it? Like fucking 50 missions or so? Would you say?
30 something.
30 something? Okay. I was going to say 30 originally.
But still fucking it's a ton.
Yeah. Well, not just 30 missions, but I mean a huge ass map too. The map is freaking bonkers, man, how big it is.
2 maps.
Is it 2 maps?
Yeah.
Well, Ground Zeroes, you mean?
No, 5.
The 5 has 2 maps? I don't remember them.
Yeah, you have Afghanistan, and then you have I forget, somewhere in Africa. I forget the place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 whole fucking maps.
Holy shit. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. My argument for the mission-based stuff is look at Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Monster Hunter World is quest-based. There's a fucking story that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
But it's there and it's all quest-based. So and it's a console game based, originating from mobile type games. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because like when I played Peace Walker, I was like, man, I wish this was like on a console. And then we got HD collection, and I was like, that's tight, but wouldn't it be cool if it was in HD? Right? That same thing that we wanted out of Monster Hunter World.
Sure.
It's like I want HD Monster Hunter, and then they took away zones, right? Which is pretty much Peace Walker to 5 is generations to world. They took away zones and they gave you an open world, and they're like, go play, go have fun, be that stealth fucking hero you've always wanted to be.
I was gonna ask you, could you start missions out and about? Yes, right? Like you could be out there doing random shit and then just pull out your droid and start a mission, right?
Yeah, like if you just walk over to the place of whatever side quest is available.
Yeah, like if you were in the area, it would start the mission. If you weren't, the chopper would come pick you up or something, right?
It's kind of weird. Like you had to, if you wanted to start a specific mission, they would like drop a marker, and then you had to go to the marker, and then from there they'll be like, okay, mission starting, and then it would like black out, and then it would fade back in.
Because it would load in whatever
a specific
assets.
Mission. Yes.
Yeah, whatever assets needed to be there, tanks or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But if there was already side missions out there, you could actually just physically go to them. Like they'd be like these purple circles, and be like, oh, look, that's a side mission I could do right now. And that's a side mission I can do right now without loading anything new. The one thing I really wish that they would have done that they fucking did not was to use the chopper out there and go from place to place. Like, why the fuck do I have to keep going back to the sky to pick my mission to go back down? That really bugs me.
That is kind of silly. Because you can drive the jeeps and you can ride your horse. And,
I guess that's why they did it, so you could do that. But
yeah, that's weird. One thing I will say about this one,
because you could do that at Mother Base. You can get on the chopper and then have it take you somewhere else on Mother Base.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I'll say about this one that I want to know how you feel about this, and we'll get there when we get there with Chris. It's interesting because I don't know what trailer we're going to watch when we get there. This game, these trailers really ruined the game for me, unfortunately. In terms of story,
Chris, a Metal Gear trailer. I'm going to show him something else.
Okay. Because
so you're gonna have to act like, oh shit, like what do you think?
Oh, okay.
Because I definitely need him to not see anything.
Yeah, not seeing anything on this game will benefit him in the sense of keeping some awe alive. Because unfortunately, dude, like the Red Band trailer and the trailer before that, and whatever trailers you want to call them, like
and the first trailer is the whole fucking first mission, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then like the Red Band trailer shows you so much shit that when you play this game, I was like, okay, here's that one cutscene that from the trailer, and then that was the trailer. I'm like, oh, like there's nothing else to this. Now I'm just back on Now I'm like this Salant, whatever his name is.
So
When they
Holampus.
introduced him in one of the trailers, one of the final trailers I saw, like they show his tax and everything, and I was like, damn, this could be hella cool. And like it literally was just that. Like, and then it picks up right there. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, in my opinion, I was like, why would you show this? Like, this is like showing the ending to your movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even a tease. It was like, here's what it is, and here's all the moves he has. And you're like, what the fuck? Like that's you showed me everything. I'm surprised they didn't show you fucking shooting Skullface, you know, just fucking blasting him.
Yeah.
Fuck. Because I mean they showed everything.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, they showed the whole Huey or Huey, not Huey.
Yeah, Huey.
No, it's Huey, sorry. Yeah, the whole Huey kind of torture scene. They showed you know,
Yeah, they
fucking
showed
put him on a
everything.
yeah, they showed just about everything, yeah. But that's something that I was always like, I remember I think maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm also sad on this game is because nothing was a surprise. Because like I saw everything in the trailers, and that's and maybe going forward from that day forward, that's when I because I remember when I first met you, you're the one that said you don't really like watching trailers in movies because they spoil shit, and then I remember thinking that to myself, yeah, you're kind of right. Remembering this game, how the trailers ruined it for me, for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Some other people might be like, nope, it was perfect for me, but for me it did. So yeah, there's been plenty of times where I start seeing a trailer for a movie, and that maybe it's a movie I'm interested in. I'm like, oh, this movie looks like this is something I've been waiting for. I'm like, I close my eyes and I start humming, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to see shit because I want to. If it's something I'm committed to watching, I want to be surprised.
Yeah. I mean,
And
we
so,
we just watched the new Captain America movie last night,
oh, did you? Okay,
and they had the trailer for fucking Thunderbolts Asterix,
okay.
and we saw that trailer, and I was like, well, we just saw the whole fucking movie. They just showed everything. I even told
I
this, I was like, I even know who's gonna die. I was like, that fucking character's gonna die. You know why? Because she's only in one fucking scene. She's not in any other part of the trailer.
um, but yeah. So anyway, so that's something I'm curious about. Like maybe we can do the opposite with Chris, like beat the game and then show him the trailers and see what he thinks, like how he would have felt if he had seen those trailers first. Because
Yeah.
again, trailers is something that you weren't forced. We chose to watch them. We were told, you know, new trailer, and we fucking clicked on it. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like
No,
we were
but
reading a magazine article and being like, ooh, you know, here's some snippets of the new game. It was a full blown 10-minute trailer.
yeah. No, but I do want to show him a fake trailer because I kind of just want to I want to pull a Kojima on him
Yeah.
for him to be like, huh, this is Metal like I want him to just kind of be like, what the fuck is this? Like this doesn't even look like Metal Gear. I'm like, I know.
Hmm.
Crazy, right? And then when he plays the game, like, where the fuck was any of that stuff in the trailer? But like, I don't know, Chris, just keep playing to the end of the game. Maybe it's there.
Oh.
And yeah, I just because you're right, it's gonna ruin it for him. Or we could just use Ground Zeroes as the trailer for him because this is one thing that really bothers me about Ground Zeroes is there's a trailer for 5 in it after you beat it.
Oh, is there? I don't remember.
Yeah, and so it's like, should we just let him play Ground Zeroes and let that kind of show him what shows up there?
Maybe.
We know Chris's memory is also not great,
Yeah.
so it might all just fucking go right over his head. We might just be that lucky. So we could just probably just do that. We just be like, all right, Chris, there's no trailer we could show you without completely spoiling this game. Like, you just need to play this Ground Zeroes
Mm-hmm.
demo or something. We could just tell them this is a demo
That's a demo. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
for the rest of the game. So play this. This will be your trailer, and then that'll kind of give them the what the fuck moment of like, wait, you know what happens next? Is this a demo or what is this? You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember this game was it was so crazy the way they showed this. No one fucking knew it was Metal Gear. Like they were just like, you know, the intro to Ground Zeroes, right? With the whole
Mm-hmm.
here's to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Skullface and all this stuff, and you're like, what fucking game is this? What is this shit? And you see Chico, they don't show his name, but you're like, huh, okay. And then it follows Snake up that cliff. And once you finally see him with the fucking night vision goggles, you're like, holy fuck, is this fucking Snake? Like they said they weren't gonna make any more goddamn games.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls it off and he goes, kept you waiting, huh? And you're like, oh my fucking God. And then the camera pans behind him and then it's gameplay. And I remember everyone who was watching it live, like in IRL, they were like, what? Like, what's happening? You know, because they're like, this is on a PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, how is this fucking working on PS3? Like, I don't understand. And I remember because they were talking before they announced it, they were talking about Project Ogre. And people are like, "Oh, you're doing another fucking Metal Gear," and they're like, "No, this isn't. This is a whole new thing. It's going to be open world type stuff, and it's going to be in like desert jungle area type of thing." And people, I mean, of course, people were like, "Nope, we don't
Mhm.
believe you, Kojima. We don't fucking believe you."
Mhm.
But yeah, when they showed this, it was just like, "Oh, like okay, this is not in the jungle. What is this?" And they played a little bit of it live, and then I think months later or a year later, we get this trailer from Moby Dick Studios at the Video Game Awards, and I was like, nah, man, you're not pulling the wool over my eyes on this one. Like,
Mhm.
that's Snake. I know that mullet anywhere. Like, you cannot tell us this is not fucking Kojima fucking with us.
Mhm.
And it just said the Phantom Pain. There was no Metal Gear Solid 5 logo on it, but you could see the cutouts of that logo inside the words the Phantom Pain.
Mhm. Well,
But
people
oh yeah, they
filled
were
in the blanks
photoshopping
like
it. Yeah.
within minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
it's
were on it.
I wonder if it was like which way it went with on Kojima's side and Kojima's team and Konami. Was it like they should keep him busy for a couple months? So they just broke it in a minute, or was it
Right.
like these fuckers better figure it out quickly? Like, yes, they did good, like which one was it?
Yeah, because like it became confusing too though, because it was like, wait, if Ground Zeroes is Metal Gear Solid,
Mm-hmm. Then
what
what the fuck is? Yeah,
what is the Phantom Pain?
yeah,
Two Metal Gear Solid games? Like
mm-hmm.
everyone was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, you
Well,
know,
and then the whole David Hayter thing. I mean, goddamn, like I said
yeah,
again, the David Hayter thing, the them having a fallout before the game was even released was like, wait, what's going on? The whole
yeah,
fucking that real life scientist, that whole lawsuit that was pending there. Like what? Like it felt like the whole thing was a giant stunt. Who knows? Did they ever release a definitive version where Ground Zeroes is in with Phantom Pain? Or is it
they're
still
always
two separate?
they're always two separate. Yeah,
Oh,
like
always still.
there is the definitive edition,
Mm-hmm.
but it comes with both the games.
But two disc, pretty much.
Well, I don't know about physical. I just
Oh,
know
okay.
PC.
Oh, oh, okay, okay.
Good question. Yeah, I don't know if they. I mean, it probably would have to be two discs. I'm pretty sure Phantom Pain takes up a whole dual layer Blu-ray
Yeah, that
also,
shit's pretty big. Yeah.
which is also nuts that it's about the same size as Metal Gear Solid 4,
Yeah.
right? Like, how
Yeah.
did they do that?
It's that whole thing. Like you said, squeezing everything you can out of it.
It's magic, dude.
It's
Yeah, the
it's
fact that
it's
Phantom
just getting.
Pain is also on PS3.
Yeah.
It's I don't get it.
It's being able to really what do you call it, like stack those Legos so perfectly that just get so much more bits and bait out of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
goddamn
no,
technical wizards, dude.
because like I said, imagine like when the games are first being made, and I'm talking like any kind of game, and I'm just talking very very liberal here, like the whole concept of like you write an entire line of code just to say walk forward, and later on like it just becomes like two fucking words, like because you just got
Yeah,
good
your
at it.
code
You're like,
becomes efficient. Yeah,
exactly, that's that efficient. It's just like you don't longer have to do entire pages of code to do one room. You realize you could simplify it by doing this and that.
that's what kills
That's
me when I try to make a game.
uh-huh.
Like my code starts out like kind of sloppy,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, oh, I could do this like this, and then I spend all my time just like compressing it down, like you said, to less and less lines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I can write it like this and make it more efficient and more elegant. That's where I
Mm-hmm.
waste most of my time
Hmm.
instead of just get it to
Letting it
work,
be. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then fix your code later. But the thing is, I hate writing comments in my code. So if I
Okay.
don't write comments, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Okay.
And I'll come back to it months later, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is this?
Uh-huh.
I wrote this, but what the fuck does this do?
What is it? Yeah. Well, there's nothing worse than there's not. Like I said, I've only dabbled it in very little, but there's nothing worse than going into fix a code and then everything else fucking breaks. So then you
Oh, that
gotta
too.
fucking then you gotta go through and fix it. Like, and you're at first you're like, why did? Oh yeah, yeah, because I wrote this, I changed this. That means to change. So you go back over there, and then that one changes other thing. You're like, fuck. Why did I just?
Or a
What?
typo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
code never tells you where the typo is, because that's where the typo is. That's not where the game broke. The game
Yeah.
broke somewhere else because of this typo.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're like, okay, it broke here, but
That's always the funnest.
what you have to like go backwards. And you're like,
Yeah.
what would have caused this to break? And it's like fucking 30 lines up, and you're like, that's what broke it? Are you fucking kidding
Yep.
me?
Yeah. You just miss one little. Yeah.
Yeah. So these guys, yeah, they're fucking they're brilliant.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was I gonna say?
It really shows you, like I said, when you dedicate yourself to something, how efficient you can be, how good you can be at it. I mean that's just speedrunners in a nutshell too. You know, these people that
Yep.
play certain games so much they know like every frame of it. You know.
Literal min maxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what the Kojima team is. They min max their code, and that's what speedrunners do. They min max their time
Mm-hmm.
and their efficiency. What else was I going to say? Did I mention that? I guess this is probably also for Chris, so remind me next time. But I don't know if I mentioned it, but it was Huey that Granin was communicating with. It wasn't his grandfather.
Okay, it was Huey.
Yeah. Because I was playing through Peace Walker, and fucking yeah, they were talking, and fucking Snake says, "Oh, so you're the friend Granin had in the States."
Oh, okay.
And Huey says yes. And I was like, "Oh shit, write this down. We got to talk about this at some point." So yeah. Oh, I guess we can't mention it next. We have to mention it whenever Huey shows up for
Mm-hmm.
Chris in Peace Walker. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was just remembering that. I was like, what was that one thing about fucking Huey? I was like, oh yeah, because the thing that made more sense would have been the grandfather, but
Mm-hmm.
it was actually Huey. So I
So Huey
was
was
yeah,
what, or late teens, 19, something like that,
he was like in his early 20s.
or his 20s, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you take his
Which, like we say, wasn't unbelievable. It just made more sense for it to be like a 30-year-old grandfather, or so.
yeah,
30,
yeah,
40-year-old grandfather. But okay. So yeah, he was, because we're like, yeah, why would Grind and this 50-year-old guy be talking to a
yeah. You
20-year-old?
guys,
We're like,
you guys
well,
fucking had me convinced, dude.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But I mean, it could have gone either way because they were like, they are
Yeah,
scientists. So scientists do mingle amongst any age. It doesn't matter. You're just a scientist,
yeah. Especially fucking what's his face who blew his hands off? What is his name? Johnny?
What? Uh,
No, what
John?
the
Uh,
what was his name? Um,
Jimmy? No.
Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Right? Was that his name in Ghost Babel?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, I
He
mean
blew
he
his hands? Oh,
was.
when he was, yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
was
they
eight, well, like 13 or something like that?
some crazy. He was definitely a teenager.
Yeah, yeah,
And
because
you
he was
get and
hella
you got
like
people like
talking all,
yeah, then you got
like,
people
yo,
like
man, what's
Sonny.
up? Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
these
Sonny, exactly.
these
Yeah, exactly.
geniuses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that kind of community, for the most part, I guess I'm making assumptions here. Like, don't shun you on your age. It's more like if you actually bring something to the table, you're welcomed at the table. But again, for the most part, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
So like, yeah, so Huey was, like I said, early 20s. And he was some really smart person. So he was like, yeah, the grandin would have mingled with them. It's believable. It's just we thought it was the father or the grandfather.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny. That's funny. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. So that's official. Okay, okay.
yeah. I was just remembering that because I was playing through Peace Walker, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!" They had me fucking convinced it was the grandfather. I was like, I knew somewhere, I knew it was fucking Huey, but I was like, okay, if you guys say so. There's also but you haven't played this one. Damn it, I can't even talk spoilers with you about this
Oh,
one.
Rising?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
shit.
haven't played shit on that one.
I can't talk to you about that one.
I know that sucks.
Man, that's all right.
I
We're
I
gonna
know
get
it
to that
takes
one soon.
place a little bit in the future, but that's
Yeah,
all I know.
so I used to think that it was the one the most in the future, but then we played Acid and Acid 2, and those ones are way in the future.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fuck, I had another thing in my brain.
Yeah, no, I don't have a whole lot more just because of the whole like I said, I haven't played that game forever. The theory was kind of cool. I did not know you hadn't seen the original because the originals were like like 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and then he made one giant chunk like video where
Right.
it was like an hour plus or some shit like that. The definitive version edition, if you will. He actually, I'll say this was his name, Python
Python Silken.
Selskin and Young
Python
Ya
Silken.
Selkin went at it, and Young Ya went at it back in the day.
Yeah, he's against
Um,
the theory.
yeah, back in the day they were. This is even before Young Ya had a face. It was just covered, like, just audio.
Yep.
It was just audio and shit. And I remember watching both of them back and forth, and like there was some times where Young Ya would make a certain point. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense here. Or some of it was kind of like, yeah, you can't base everything off of one little shadow or some shit like that. I can't remember exact ones, but it said again, I was ready for Venom Snake, and I was again, I wanted it. The whole dream, like none of that came into play. And you're like, fuck, man, like that would have been so fucking cool. Again, talking about comas and fucking VR missions and all that shit. Like the only thing that was an illusion was the whole pause thing. But like, what if that's the only one that's confirmed? That's
Right.
illusion.
In game.
But like, yeah, but what else is an illusion? Again, it does open up that door. Like, Nothing. Like for all we know, Cephalanthropus was fucking an illusion, you know.
Right. I didn't
And
even think about
we
that.
also talked. Yeah, we also talked about how like people in what do you call it? Exaggerate shit, you know,
Yes.
and from different points of views and all that. So it's like, yeah, for all we know, Cephalanthropus wasn't even that powerful. It's just what they saw, you know, like oh, this thing does this and that, you know.
Yeah.
Because again, it's not like they were recording these physical fights. It was just, yeah, man, I took down this fucking giant robot and it was swinging these like chain like things, and so these soldiers are imagining this thing, you know, that wasn't like that.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what you guys were talking about with the whole, or I think it was Mr. Robot that mentioned it, is that oh no, we said it with the digital graphics novels, like that's what really happened, and the games
Mm-hmm.
is what the legend is,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. Again, again, it's everything gets. What's that game called? Telephone, or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know, you start off by saying like, yeah, Solid Snake, Big Boss infiltrated Russia and took down this machine and fought the Cobra unit, and then it's like, oh, who was the Cobra unit? Oh, there was the legendary mercenaries or whatever, and then it blows up into this giant thing because we officially saw canon that said that Zero was also helping, you know, blow the legend of Big Boss, you know, so it's like, so how much of it was real, how
Right.
much of it was fucking fake, you know.
Right.
You know, what we played, was that what the Zero sold us, or was that what really, really went down? You know, we don't know
Hmm.
anymore.
Yeah.
What we do know is that he did go in and stop the boss and stop the nuclear threat. Everything else could have just been fucking fake, you know?
Yeah. We literally don't know. We weren't there.
Mm-mm. No, we weren't. But no, yeah, yeah. Sorry about that Rising thing.
No, that's
Part of
okay.
me did no, part of me does. I've been wanting to play it ever since we started this podcast. I'm like, maybe I should knock it up. I'm like, I wanted to wait too because I'm like, I want to enjoy it with Chris. It'll be one of those like, you know, I haven't played this either, so let's find it out together, Chris. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know, you know.
Yeah. This besides this one, or no, sorry, besides Survive.
Mm,
Yeah, Rising is the only one where two of you haven't played it. Like none of us have played Survive.
hmm
It was the same thing with Acid One
Yeah,
we,
Acid One. None of us played, and
and Ghost
graphics too.
Babel. Oh, and the
Well, and
graphics
Ghost Battle.
novels.
Yeah,
Yeah, graphics too. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Otherwise, at least one of us had touched something, you know.
yeah.
You
We had
between
at
you and
least,
me, yeah.
yeah, the MSX ones. We'd kind of played a little bit with it.
hmm
Yeah, I don't know if you got anything else.
No, not that I can think of right now. Like I said, I'm watching, you know, the video you're playing here. I think we touched a lot on what I wanted to touch upon. How like, yeah, it would have been better if you were Gray Fox, you know. I don't know. It's a lot of like, I don't know, man. Like I got to replay the game myself, obviously, so I can have some more input on certain tapes and certain stuff that's said and mentioned. Because right now, I'm trying to go off of memory, and I don't
Yeah,
remember everything, obviously.
you're an unreliable narrator right
I
now.
am. I really am. Because I really am like, oh yeah, you know, like I forgot about that part. No, like I said, I'm excited to get back to 5. Like I said, it's a little bit of ways out. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see Peace Walker again, actually, because I haven't played that one forever. That one I beat a few times, but it's been a minute.
yeah. I do see the flaws in Five. Don't get me wrong. Like every game has its flaws.
hmm
Some more than others, but yeah, I don't know. This one, I feel like this is the only one that's been analyzed the most, and two is the one up to this point that has been analyzed the most. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Like people were
To
all over two. They were like, "What does this mean? And what does that mean?" And blah blah blah.
Yep, yep.
And
Deciphering every codec call, every fucking line about AI and the government, everything.
yeah, which is why I feel like this was all done on purpose because Kojima was just like, "Well, let me just do two again and see what happens."
Hey, you know what? No, I'm not even gonna lie. You just took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say it's just the same as two. Like we're left with more fucking questions than answers, and it was like, yeah, that's what you get, fuckers.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is like that he never said this would be his last one. This is the only one where he said this is my last Metal Gear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It makes sense. I don't think I ever heard that, but yeah, I don't. Like I said,
All the
I
other
didn't see
ones is
every
like
interview.
this is my last one, but he never said that about 5. All he said was
That's
like we're doing something new that we've never done before and we're excited about it. Like he was so fucking giddy about this game. Like I'd never seen the light in his eyes like that before, except for like the behind the scenes for 3 once he finally figured out the story he wanted to tell.
Mm. Which is why I'm telling you, man. Come August 28th, it'll be like, I'm back, bitches. I never left. It's all part of a fucking, what is it? fucking 20-year fucking plan now or whatever.
A fucking April Fool's joke from
Yeah.
a 10-year-old April Fool's joke.
God damn, yeah.
Fuck, it's
And
gonna
then
be
it
10
turns
years
dude,
this
watch it turns
this
out, holy
April.
shit. I'm gonna break something right now, dude. Metal Gear Delta will end up being fucking episode 3 or chapter 3 or whatever it'll be,
Right.
like the sequel. No,
German's
Metal
calling
Gear
it here
Delta.
first. He's coming
Metal
back
Gear
from
Delta.
from the future to tell us.
Metal Gear Solid Delta will be the fucking ground zeros. And then we'll get fucking, the next game or whatever. Oh, man.
Yeah. I wonder if he had another Metal Gear in him where he was just like,
Yeah.
I do still have something to say, because he told Jeff Keighley that this last one's going to be, well, not this last one, but this last thing that I'm going to do is like a 3-part thing. And I guess we all assume it was Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain. But like we said, Ground Zeroes wasn't meant to be its own thing. It was supposed to be all together, but Konami kind of forced him to like, hey, see if your fucking fans will pay for this to fund the rest of this game. So I feel like there was a third part, like a whole another fucking game that we just didn't get, because maybe that's why this one feels like such a fucking cliffhanger. Not because we didn't get chapter 3, but because there was a whole nother game.
Yeah. Hey, that's now we're starting to get some definite, like, goddamn,
Right, because that
like if this one was left as is, like as a Phantom Pain, this one was left quote unquote unfinished, but then we got Metal Gear Solid 6 or whatever the fuck you'd want to call it, and that was like its own thing. You'd be like, oh shit, and it helped complement this one or something,
Yeah, it makes this one make more sense.
Yeah,
I wonder if that was the plan, because yeah.
You know what? And it maybe wasn't even supposed to be a game. Now that why don't we start talking about what if it was we were gonna get a graphics? What if we're gonna get the actual movie or some shit? It didn't have to be a game.
Yeah,
could have been a graphic or an anime. It could have been a fucking straight up like, oh yeah, we're making Metal Gear, whatever you'd call it, anime, and then you'd be like, oh okay, what's it about? And then it turns out like it helps finish this story off to an extent without breaking this one's, Phantom Pain feeling,
Yeah.
Who knows, man? You're right. I think now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. I don't think he ever said this was his last one. I don't think he ever did say that. But I still would argue that it is super weird, like how much money was being dumped into this with all his
oh dude, yeah.
over the top stunts that he was pulling and interviews and all kinds of shit. And it does make you feel like what some people had thought before, which was I was on that camp too, like a self-sabotage kind of thing. Like he was like, I'm gonna fucking
if these fuckers won't let me stop making this game,
so I'm gonna
make it happen.
I'm gonna push every button and fucking burn every bridge I can or whatever, just to piss them off. They're like, it almost feels like when they're like, hey man, stop spending money. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do an interview where I wear a fucking mask that costs $10,000. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, boy?
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Like at the end of the day, man, hey, we still got months until that Delta, and once Delta's out, if nothing comes out of it, then it's officially over. But you know what? I'm still on that fence that he's been playing us like a fiddle, man.
Yeah. I can't wait for fucking Chris to actually hear that for the first time and be like, oh, this is where it's from.
Yeah. Or the iDroid. Oh.
Yeah, the time passing thing.
Yeah.
The clock. Where the fuck are you even out? I'm like looking for these buttons and I can't find them.
They played us like a damn fiddle.
Yeah, the smoking cigar one. That's
yeah. He's gonna be like, oh, you fuckers.
Oh, I remember now.
What?
I think this is actually a good way to cap this off. Because you mentioned it, David Hayter, not reprising his role in 5.
Okay.
I actually agree for the first time only with Kojima not rehiring Snake. I mean, sorry, David Hayter as Snake in this one. I don't know if it worked well on the Japanese audience because Aki Otsuka still reprised the role. But for these 2 games, it makes sense for him not to reprise his role because we never do play as Big Boss. There is, of course, like the scenes with Big Boss and Ocelot, but like I was saying before, if none of this narration can be trusted, then we never really hear Big Boss's voice. So the Ground Zero's Big Boss is actually Venom's own memory. which is why we hear Kiefer Sutherland's voice instead. And yeah, and I also think like, would we as big David Hayter fans, like I don't know, I don't think Akio Tsuka is that big of a rock star in Japan as David Hayter was here in the States as Solid Snake.
Yeah, that's an argument. Yeah, we don't really know the answer to that, but okay, I'll keep going.
For us over here, we would have instantly recognized Ishmael's voice.
Oh, sure.
As Hayter, we would have been like, "Yo, what's happening here?" But since it was Kiefer Sutherland, and we're not really used to like Kiefer Sutherland being Snake, which is funny because I think I told you that the fucking plot twist was spoiled for me because I'm an idiot and I went into a stream and chat was blowing up, like spoiling it for this poor player's fucking, for his gameplay. And I was like, dude, you guys are fucking assholes. Like, not only did you spoil it for the guy who's playing the goddamn game, but you spoiled it for everybody that's in the fucking chat. But yeah, I feel like I remember hearing Kiefer as Ishmael, and I was like, fuck, that Twitch chat was right. Like I just knew. I was like, fuck, I'm playing as a body double or something like that. I'm not playing as Big Boss. And I think maybe that's why I was more accepting of this theory and everything, and I'm okay with how the game turned out, because I didn't have that whole feeling of like, I don't know how. Like, did you find out as soon as you were told that you weren't Big Boss?
Well, because I had seen the theories from Pliskin or Python there, and
it was already in the back of your mind.
It was already in the back of my mind, and I was already accepting that. I was like, "Ooh, I might not be Big Boss." Yeah. I was already on the board, because even Young had said, "I like the idea that you're not Big Boss." He goes, "I just don't think you're Gray Fox because of whatever beefs they were having, whatever his arguments were." But he also was all on the page of like, yeah, there's a chance you're not Big Boss, but blah blah blah, this and this and this. Well, anyways, so in my mind, I was actually also in that camp of, yeah, I don't think I'm Big Boss either. And I was really hoping, actually, I was on the David Hayter camp where I was like, you're gonna beat the game, and then the real Big Boss gonna show up in David Hayter's voice. Kept you waiting. I'm like, yes, motherfucker. Like, so no, yeah, we would have recognized them 100%. I think you and me talked about this personally, and we'll talk about this with Chris when that time comes. It's like, I think one of the biggest issues too, though, was not so much that it wasn't David Hayter, because yeah, even if David Hayter had changed his voice somehow himself, or they had done it via computers or whatever, I don't know, like how could you make it different, right? How could you make it different? How different would it really sound? Would it be like, oh, it's a whole nother character, or is like it's David Hayter with the high pitch, or it's David Hayter with fucking a different
because they even did that for Ground Zeroes. They deepened Kiefer Sutherland's voice
he did, as the medic,
quote unquote medic, yeah.
So what I think is what everyone was just more and more pissed, if anything, is like, I think everybody in the States at least, or whoever would have been 10 times more accepting if it was just done the right way, which would have been like, hey, I'm not casting David Hayter for reasons or whatever, instead of like us
constantly call at all, not even for an audition.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Instead of us being like, David, he's like, they haven't called me. And then like he says, he may book the lunch, and he was told during the lunch, yeah, no, we're like not doing it. He's like, oh, okay, cool. And he was like, because he was just like, I'm keep getting all these fucking, direct messages or whatever, and the game's around the corner. I'm just curious, like, is it gonna happen or not? Like, should I clear my calendar or not? Pretty much,
Right. Yeah.
If they would have just told him like from the beginning, like, no, it's not happening. If they would have told us from the beginning, like, no, like, it's not happening. And I guarantee you, many of us would have still been like, nah, they're both trolling us. But it was kind of the fact that he himself was like just kind of slapped on the face, like saying, nah, we're not gonna do it with you. And he was like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, they handle it completely wrong.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I'm all for it. I'm all for them choosing Keither. Just they should have just done it the right way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, we would have known. Right.
No, we would have known. We would have known 100%. And like I said, I wonder if like people in Japan would have known the same for his voice actor over there. Because that's part of the theory too. It was like, it's the same actor in Japan, so it's gotta be the same actor here. And it was like, no, it wasn't. Like it really wasn't.
Yeah.
But no, speaking of one thing I'll mention real quick too, speaking of spoilers, it's or people who spoil shit, but the thrill of spoiling shit. There's this series I've been watching recently, and this guy's trying to beat this game, Symphony of the Night, actually, speaking of.
Okay.
And he's doing this, he's calling it this impossible challenge. It's a 2.0 version now. So long story short, it's a really hard way of playing Symphony of the Night. And he uploads these videos every other couple days or whatever. And I was watching the recent run this morning, just today, and he got on a good strut, and I was like, ooh, I'm like, is this the one? Is this the one where he beats the game? And I just happened to minimize the video or whatever because I was going to comment something. Oh, because I was going to comment because it's a bot, obviously it's not live at the moment because he does it live on Twitch or whatever. But I was going to comment something, and the top comment said, "Spoilers, he doesn't." And I was like,
Oh, you
you
fucker.
dick, yeah. And I was like, and then I clicked on he had like 4 responses, and like the 4 responses were like, thanks for ruining it. Like that's why we click in, dude. Like you literally just ruined it for everyone who was gonna watch this video,
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, this run was really hot, and then I was like, maybe it's just a troll, maybe. And then no, he dies. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, damn it. I was like, I was told he wasn't gonna do it, and yeah. So it sucks. So again, like that guy who spoiled it. By the way, you fucking play as you don't play as Big Boss, or it's like that sucks.
Yeah.
There's always someone who does that, man. There's always someone who's just like gets a thrill out of spoiling it. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I think it's like a me first kind of thing because like I've even noticed it, and like I said, I've probably done it as a little kid too. Like you're watching a movie or someone's watching a movie and you saw it first, like, oh yeah, and then in the end he dies. Like, bro, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, why?
Yeah.
You don't think about it. You're just excited that you saw it. You already know what happens, but you're not thinking it's ruining it for somebody else.
Yeah.
But again, that's as a kid. As an adult, I think you're just like being a dick.
Yeah. Seriously, dude. It's just. Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah. I don't know what experience I would have had if I didn't know. But yeah, it made me accept it like way earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I buy into the theory so easily. Well, not so easily, but just like because I watched that video multiple times. I was like, okay, I'm looking for flaws in their theory, which there are some, of course, obviously. But yeah, I mean, just like the evidence for it is so much that I'm like, how could it not be? How could it not be? And so that's why I was just like, in my headcanon, it's official. Like it makes sense to me, so I'm okay with it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So if anyone out there is going like, yeah, but the whole fucking Metal Gear community is up in arms about this theory, and they're calling you fake fans or some shit because you believe this theory or whatever and blah blah. Like believe whatever the fuck you want to believe because that's art, right? Art is supposed to ensue discussion and arguments and feelings and stuff like that. Like this game proves that it's art. The fact that it's got all of us still fucking talking about it more than 10 years later about what the hell's going on in this fucking game. 2 is still doing that same thing to this day. So yeah,
like I said, well, just talking about it in any way, shape, or form, because like I said, 1 is still talking about it, despite it being outdated in graphics or gameplay or whatever. 3 is still talking about it with the theme song, just the world it built, like it's just art is supposed to, like you said, bring up feelings.
And it's supposed to allow you to interpret it the way what it means to you, right? And that's what this game means to me. This game to me means, hey, this is the fucking game Kojima's been wanting to make for the longest time. And one of the main things Kojima's always said that he wanted to do was a game about Gray Fox. And to me, he did it. Makes sense.
No, yeah. Like I think until like it comes out and someone states, it doesn't have to be Konami. It doesn't have to be Kojima himself. It could be someone that worked on the game that could say like, hey, you know what? Maybe there's an NDA out there. Maybe something's going on. Whatever. Maybe 10 years later, when it's like Metal Gear is dead and no one cares about it no more or some shit, someone will come out and say like, oh yeah, by the way, like this is what the original ending was supposed to be. Or when we get those documents, like I said, like we've seen stuff from Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 and 1 where it's like, originally he wanted this, originally he wanted that, So it's like, yeah, one day, 10 years from now, we'll get that. We'll get the like definitive like answers that we're looking for, Because I won't lie, I'm sure it's still a sore spot for Kojima to talk about this game,
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm sure like, and I'm sure it's super sensitive where I'm confidently sure no one's going up to him and be like, hey man, so in Metal Gear Solid 5, did you he's like, no, like no one first of all is probably going up to him asking these questions. And if they did, he would definitely be like, I don't want to talk about it right now. He would definitely not be like, yeah, let me fucking open up that wound again, where the shit went sideways, Yeah,
because even Hader was like that for the longest time. He didn't play 5 for the longest time until finally he was just like, he finally did, he let it go and he was just like, Kiefer Sutherland did a great fucking job and, they took selfies together and whatever and, no hard feelings. It wasn't fucking Kiefer Sutherland's fault.
No, exactly. Yeah, when people were talking shit about Keither and they were like boycott or what, I think there was a small talk about like we should boycott, and I was like, why? It's not his choice. A and B, it's just a job for him. It's like
Right.
that's silly. That's dumb.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much else we can talk about spoilers because I mean, yeah, the only thing we could really focus on is 5 and Peace Walker.
Honestly, yeah, because we did cover a lot of it when we did our 4 recap and stuff. Like,
yeah, we just have
even
more freedom to talk about shit.
yeah. Honestly, like, honestly, 4 was that big breaking point where it was like everything that we, except for 5 and Peace Walker, that we want to talk about to mention, like we could, and as we made it further and further into the games, 2 and fucking Snake Eater and stuff like that, we were able to talk more and more freely and bring points up. Because I remember when we first started this, there was like, oh, there's like a million things we can't talk about, and I was like, now that we got here, we're like, there's not that much anymore because we already kind of did talk about it.
One more thing I want to just bring up that's hilarious. One of the last things Chris fucking said was, I would love it if there was 1 or 2 games that explained what happened between Big Boss and Zero. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I think me and Lally Lulelo were DMing each other as he was saying that. I was like, is he fucking trolling us? Like, what did we say to each other? Where is he? Yeah, I was like, lol, 2 games? And he's like, Chris knows something, lol. I'm like, he's so on point, dude. He's like crazy on point. And I'm just like, lolly lulelo. Like, what the hell?
Well, like I said that, when in 4, when he was like, I hope we get a fist fight at the end. And I hope that, I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, you motherfucker, No, was it you or I think it was him. No, I think he did too. He said like that he wish there was like a better way to like drag soldiers or some shit like that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, if only there was like a way to like fucking pick them up and shit. I was like,
yeah. If only you could, if only you could pick them up over your shoulder. He's like, that'd be great. I'm like, I know, right? I'm like, if only. But yeah, when he said that, I was like, son of a bitch. What does he know?
What's funny is like maybe it's more of a not so much that obviously he's trolling us, but it's like the natural game progression where it's like, damn, I wish, again, like the whole like, I wish I could recruit soldiers, and like now you can, like, oh man, I wish I don't have to drag them over to the box every time. Then you can, like, man, I wish I could actually like pick them up instead of dragging them all awkwardly.
Things, yeah.
And then it's like, now you can, it's like, oh yeah, it's like everything is working as it should, and that's how game development works. Like lots and lots of games have done that, where like you're like, you play the first version of it, and you're like, man, this game's so good, but like the worst part about it was how you reload your gun, or there's not enough ammo, or whatever, and then obviously you're probably not the only one who felt that, and then the developers were like, yeah, let's fix that one thing that people were complaining about.
I think that's why Metal Gear and Monster Hunter are such good franchises, because they do build on themselves, and they experiment, and they do really wild stuff that you're like, no other game franchise does this. Like, look at Assassin's Creed. They're just doing the same fucking thing over and over, and more of it, and bigger and bigger, and it's like, you are not innovating.
First of all, I've never played a single Assassin's Creed, so
man,
I know, I feel what you're saying. Like, I think I understand it, because like, wasn't the first risk they took, if you will, the whole fucking the pirate ship battles that everyone loved, and it was just like a little section of the game, like they're like, we want this, we want more of this.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, we'll make that game, and then it's like, oh no, we ran out of money trying to make this game. Oh no, we're contractually obligated to who the fuck is it? Some country that invested in it. It's like, we're contractually obligated to finish this game, and yeah, Skull and Bones, 9 years or something like that, and it came out and it's trash. But yeah, same thing with like Call of Duty. Yeah. What are you innovating?
Yeah,
you're not doing anything fucking new, and yet people gobble it up. I don't get it. It's well,
like I said, okay, for me, multiplayer, that's what I play, but it's the storyline where I feel the same, because I'm like, first of all, I don't give a fuck about storyline in Call of Duty, but yeah, it's always the same shit. Like, for me, storyline is the boring part. Like I said, I get what you're saying, but I play the multiplayer. I would rather not buy. I haven't bought one in years, but I hate buying a new copy every fucking year, because like, people stop playing the old one. It's like, can we just stop making a new Call of Duty every fucking year, so I can, just make maps, just fucking make maps like Fortnite. God damn it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. There's how much more graphically can you improve? Like you're really
Yeah,
not.
like I said, that's not something I like. I do find that very annoying. People have made arguments for Pokemon, and it's like, but Pokemon, every game I haven't played one since Silver, but from what I understand, every game is not only new Pokemon, it's a whole new mechanics too, whole new battle systems, and God knows what else they throw in these games.
No, the battle system's the same, dude.
I heard there's like passive skills now and all kinds of shit. Like it's still like turn based, but like I don't know. I heard like there's a little bit more to it. Like again, heard
I
because I haven't
guess I
played.
don't know.
I haven't played a single one, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But point being, is like, yeah, I like when you take risk.
I feel like they're less risk takers.
Pokemon.
Yeah. I feel like they don't risk as much as these two.
No. That's what I'm saying. I like risk because then like if it didn't work out, you can always go back. And if it does work out and it pays off, then you got to hit game on your hands.
Yeah, I mean that's Wilds is a result of World and Rise. Things that were great in Rise, they're like, okay, let's bring that to Wilds. Things that were great in World, all right, let's bring that to Wilds. That's basically why Wilds exists, is because they were like, holy shit, like Worlds hella blew up. Rise kind of didn't, but Rise had a lot of good things that people really liked. And yeah, same thing with Metal Gear, like you said. God, I wish I didn't have to drag this soldier all the way to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wish fucking, I could carry these guys on my shoulder. Plus, risking. Like, there's huge risks in making an open world Metal Gear. Like, crazy that they even accomplished it. And that still fucking looks good to this day. Which is
yeah. I'm watching the gameplay right now, and I'm like, this shit looks solid, dude. I want to play this.
Yeah. I uninstalled it because I actually started burning myself out. I was like, oh God, I'm playing so fucking much and I'm so close to 100%. And I was like, nope, I'm burning myself out trying to get to this 100%. I will go play some other stuff. We'll get there again and I'll play again because I got to play for the story. Okay. If there's no other thoughts, bro.
No, I think we're pretty good. Like I said, this was just a nice one to just kind of talk about a free range, if you will, if anything came up. Like I said, we did cover a lot of stuff during the episodes, but yeah, this was a good one to, like I said, just have no Chris, not having to watch your tongue, what you say. Like everything we said here is like between you and me.
Yeah.
We know everything we talked about.
Yeah, except Revengeance.
Right. Yeah, Revengeance. Did I say Rise? I think I said Rise actually earlier. Revengeance. No,
I think you said Rising.
Rising, okay.
Because that's what it is. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I wish they made a sequel to that one. Such a good fucking game.
Sweet, cool.
But yeah, this was Codec Calls, a Metal Gear Saga podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening, as always. If you want to get a hold of us, you can contact us at fans.pixelbenders@gmail.com. Or you can join the Discord. Our community is growing. People be talking there, Metal Gear and stuff, and Monster Hunter, and also I'm streaming on Twitch, as you guys have heard. I've been doing it for a couple months now, so if you guys want to hop in, talk Metal Gear and whatever. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, you can. You'll get live access to recordings, early access to episodes as soon as I'm done with the edit. You get a chance to be one of our guests, and also you get bonus content like movie reviews, film commentaries, let's plays, and the whatnot. So if you want to check that out, just support us on Patreon. And thank you to all our existing Patreons so much for doing so. We really do appreciate it. And I like that they're like the most active on our Discord. Like they really do ask us a bunch of stuff and give us more content and questions to bring up in the podcast. So thank you guys for contributing.
Yeah, definitely. It does mean a lot. Like I said, you guys, this is just something we did for the shits and giggles, and it's a year, and it's still going. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you're entertained by it, we thank you for sticking through it for a fucking year now. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
It's pretty nuts. Yeah, I didn't really think I was gonna get this far. Like I said many episodes ago, it's like I always start projects and never finish them, and it's just like, oh God, I wish I could do something that would last longer than a year. But yeah, here we are, a year later, with a bunch of other content too. Because I would love to just be doing this all the time. I would love to just create content for people. But I was your host, Noise One, aka Red Noise.
Guys, I was Riser, aka Chrono Riser.
And we'll see you guys next time with Chris.
Yes, he's not gone. We will wake him from his coma.
Yeah, from his 9-year coma.
We'll tell him he's the greatest gamer ever. We'll convince him of that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Convince him Chris, he's the greatest gamer. You're the greatest gamer that's ever existed. You're the big boss of gaming. That's why your name is Blue Rhino Boss, Chris.
That's right. He'll never hear this, but yeah. Well, I guess after we do all this, we'll be like, hey, Chris, you can listen to that one episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess in the next episode, does he need a trailer for this game? For Peace Walker?
Peaceful. I don't remember. There was a trailer actually that showed the boxes being used, and I don't remember if it showed other stuff too. I think there was a trailer though, because I remember seeing the boxes, because there was like a scene where like had the ambulance box, and you would go and like get underneath the box with your down team member.
Right.
And
okay. I kind of forgot about that. We need to watch a fucking trailer with them. Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So next episode we'll watch the trailer with Chris and see what his thoughts are on that.
Theories. Yeah, thoughts and theories. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. If you guys are too antsy, go ahead and start the game.
Yeah. I almost did actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, one of our producers has already beaten the fucking game, and he was like, "Holy shit! I just absolutely consumed it." And he's like, "That's fine, dude. It's a great game. No need to apologize. Now go for the 100%."
Oh yeah. All right.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.